gets dark.
Sounds good.
A waste of I was listening to I'm gonna put this in there because this is good. I was listening to the Always Sunny guys talking their podcast.
Oh yeah, with Charlie and
yeah, the cast of the Always Sunny with the cast of Always Sunny. Yeah, who would think that they'd do such a thing? But they were talking how they don't want to talk to each other because they don't want to ruin stuff and have nothing to talk about on the podcast.
that's something I've thought about. I think that's a very common problem for a lot of people.
And they were like, well, it's not like we're gonna have to talk about, but we're gonna run out of stuff to talk about. You know what? I want to say this right now, and I'm gonna probably leave this in for everybody instead of putting it. I'm really excited to talk about that Nina Simone's gum next week.
Oh,
and
I'm way excited.
If it goes well, I would love to do single episodes about one thing, like a book or an album or something.
Oh yeah, I'm totally done with that.
We haven't done it yet. This is going to be our first test.
Everything's been a top 5.
Yeah, and I think if we can do where we talk about one subject for, we can do that. I'd be really happy to have let's talk about an album or a book or a movie, just one thing. We'll both watch it or read it or whatever, and we'll do it. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
That'll give us some more options as well.
Yeah, to really break down and dissect more of one thing rather than just speak a little bit about it.
Really opens up a whole vista. Yeah, sexy.
Yeah, well, for sure. It'll be impossible not to discover something new about that thing that we're discussing.
I mean, it was stuff like we were talking about Blood Meridian. We'll talk about that one day. You know what I mean? And,
absolutely.
How depressing you are after reading it.
I'm already naturally depressed, so it's all good.
Well, it's a state.
But then again, I don't know. I wonder how much of that is self.
I don't think it's self. I think it's the lifestyle that we have to do in this country, in this world. It makes people depressed. We make them get up early, miss their family, miss their friends, not have any fun, work for slave wages and labor, come home tired, and then be expected to live a full day after they've worked.
It's all about it. It's what, 7:20 right now. I clocked in and work 14 hours and 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, we're not fit to actually live like this. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it can be wrong. I mean, I'm not going to complain though.
I'm going to complain because it's wrong. It's a wrong way to live. We shouldn't have to live like this.
I understand.
Human beings,
I don't know.
We're not meant to toil.
We've gotten to this point of the conversation where this is where I say oh, you need some kind of fucking struggle or something. But I don't know. But I get where you're coming from.
Well, I think an internal struggle is different than making mass people struggle for no reason.
But
just live.
Isn't the internal struggle that much more affected by the external life?
Well, here's the thing. No, I don't think so, because great philosophers often didn't work. And let me tell you something right now. What do rich kids often do? They get into art, or they get into something experimental, or they get into something fun. And that can be a struggle emotionally, but they always go to artistic things. Why is that? Because the natural state of man is to discover and create and to look inside themselves.
Yeah, but also a lot of those kids who only did the art school, how much experience do they really have to go off of?
Experience for what? In what? Then go. Well, there's plenty of people
where they participate in life and get that struggle and take their part in the suffering.
But you can choose to do that stuff and not make it be your entire life. If you choose to go dig ditches in Venezuela, you can do that. You can want to do that. There's plenty of people who don't get paid to build missions or build churches or do plenty of things in other countries that make them toil, and they're not doing it because they have to. They do it because they choose to. The natural state of people, we will create. The natural state of man is we will help other people and we will do other things. We will create, and some people will want to build things and struggle that way, and other people want to do this. But to impose that on an entire race of people because of money, because some asshole wants to make it off your back, is nonsense. We've made slaves of people. And that's not a good state. That's not a you don't get anything from that except to struggle. You can struggle without stuff.
I'm not saying we should make slaves of people, and I'm not saying there's an impossible way of doing these things without making slaves of people. But I think there's no denying the natural hierarchy of people that occurs in, in groups, right? So I mean,
well, there's a certain tribalism to it, but we're at a state right now where we're worse off than the people in the French Revolution. We're worse off than peasants, and those states eventually crumble. They fall by the wayside because people in mass get sick of being treated like shit.
I think we're worse off than all that shit.
We are. By a lot, in margins of wealth disparity and margins of maybe not always treatment. Of course, times have changed, but in wealth disparity, certainly, that's a fact.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me and my consumerist fucking ways, but I feel like there's so much available to us now that.
Okay, yeah, but here's the thing: is we're supposed to have a free market where they go, oh, industry and the market creates creativity, but they've strangled the market. There's no free market. There's no such thing as a free market. If you put something out there, you're going to get crushed by a bigger guy. That's not the free market. You can't undercut Walmart. That's not the free market. That's the opposite of the free market, because they're subsidized by the government. So once the government's got their hand in the free market, now it's no longer a free market. So we've destroyed the consumer market by creating a fascist state in which the companies control the government so that no real change can be had. Why are there 3 companies that control all the oil in the world and set prices for it? But how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Well, that's certainly not consumerism, is it? How is it that that most of Walmart's employees have to be on food stamps? Well, that's not the free market speaking, is it?
I don't know. I'm not saying that the way I'm thinking of it, the way that all these people who are on top, I'm not saying it should be the way it is. I think there should be, and I think that the small adjustments do exist and are available to us if we find a way to make it work without.
Well, what you're saying is that we have a lot of things, and you like the things, and I agree with that. We have a lot of great, but if you look at all these things that we have, a lot of them are created by people who didn't make any money off of it. All these open source things that we have, people did for free. Look at Wikipedia. So you're talking about the market. There's your market. People will do it because they want to do it. I mean, quite literally, I use Wikipedia as an example. It was created by people for free. And it's the biggest source of information we've ever had since the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, but also how much of that is also, true. Isn't it? Isn't a lot of that stuff able to be changed? Like, isn't anyone able to change?
I mean, they have people curating it. You can change it, but then you have to cite sources. I mean, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got bored with the conversation. I'm sorry.
I use an open source web browser called Vivaldi. I didn't pay for that. They didn't get paid to make it. That's the best thing I use for web browsing. And Vivaldi, if you're listening to this, we would really like a sponsorship.
Let's do it.
But I would love to get someone saying, "Hey, guys, I listen to your Dick and Ball podcasts and give you a sponsorship." You seem tired. Get a long
Oh yeah,
day,
of course, because of the work life.
the toiling.
Yeah, all that shit. I'm
And
looking at a computer screen all day. So
I'm sorry to hear that. I really am.
yeah, but it's not only that. I mean, you gotta fucking use it. I'm using my head all fucking day. So,
And with your brain capacity, that's the work of two men.
yeah, I can barely do a podcast.
We also have to, not today, we got to do that thing for SignPeaks at some point.
Yeah, we should do that really soon.
When you're more, you let me know if there's ever a time we could just do it. Like it's only a 2-minute thing. We can do it when you're feeling.
Oh yeah, I'm down for whenever you want to do it.
More spry. Let me know when you're free and you're feeling frisky and.
Yeah, I can fucking hype myself up right now.
Well, I'd have to. Let's not do it right now. We're already in the middle of something.
No, I'm just saying whenever you need me.
Yeah, whenever you want to do it, just hit me up and say, "Hey, man, I'm ready to do it," or we could do it before the next show.
Give me 10 minutes to make a pot of coffee, and I'll be good.
I figure we should do it when we're not doing the podcast, so we can kind of just have fun with it, play around with it a little bit.
Yeah,
and we
totally.
want to. I want to do a commercial for him too. We said we could do like a 90-second thing and see what we get from there. Do a couple outtakes and
Yeah, you can see what works best.
All right, let's get this show on the road since we've been talking about very important things here on the DemonPeaks podcast. I kind of like when we go a little serious. People like when we get serious about stuff. They like to hear it. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, because they know us in a way.
Yeah.
In a way. They
In a
follow our
way.
pages.
And
So,
in the biblical way.
guess-
I'll tell you, people masturbate to this show. I'm telling you. I've gotten at least 2 people that told me that. So letting you know, someone's out there enjoying themselves to this.
It's all you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DemonPeaks podcast, the dirtiest place this side of the roadhouse, and the only podcast on the entire of the internet to hear about Twin Peaks. No ovary girls talking about it. No 5 guys in a percolator. No whoever the fuck else. This is just us, baby. There's no one else out there. You look them up, you ain't gonna find them.
They don't exist.
Don't exist.
They're tulpas.
Yeah, they're not even tulpas. They're like what's lesser than a tulpa? Fucking carpet. Of course, I am DemonPeaks, Sean O'Malley, as it says right there. I get questions about my name all the time. Is that your real last name? Yeah, it's my fucking real last name.
Because everyone is expecting to see you with colored ass hair, with a big old fro, and skinnier. And
Oh yeah. Well, it was also one of them was Pope. Sean O'Malley was up for Pope.
One of them kid fuckers.
When they changed the Pope a couple of years back. This is, of course, GothPeaks Adam. That's his real name as well. Nobody questions your fucking real name.
That's why. He says nobody. Wait, somebody did question my real name, or
no? Nobody's ever questioned your name. There you go.
It's normal. It's fine.
Adam, what kind of a fucking shitty. On today's show, we're going to talk about Twin Peaks Season 1, Episode 5, Cooper's Dream, which has very little to do with Cooper's Dream. As we
Yeah, I noticed that. Not a whole lot of dreams.
Episode 2 should have been Cooper's Dream.
Yeah.
It's not
okay, so we have a different understanding, I think, of what we call the episode numbers.
Episode,
so your
episode 2.
Your episode 2 is my episode 3.
Yeah, that should have been Cooper's Dream.
Yeah.
Before we start, I want to give a shout out to people who did our opening song. Lula is in trouble. Song is Midnight Coffee.
Helper.
I also want to, before I do anything else, I want to talk about Wisteria Lodge. They have a live show coming out. They got a new song coming out. I just want to say, probably be out by the time this podcast comes up, but I just want to give them a shout out and say, you guys are great. We love you here. You're Absolutely. Officially the favorite band of the DemonPeaks podcast because you were on it. So until we get another band.
So until,
you guys are number one. If you're on YouTube, our logo's not done by Corvid Days. Find them on Etsy. They do amazing work. I've worked with that. I always say she's a broad. I think she's a young colored lady.
Young lady?
Yeah, some repute. I don't know if she's Indian or black or something, but she's fantastic. I don't even know if she's that. Just her picture, her picture that she made for herself is. So she could be a guy cosplaying as a black woman. As far as I don't know.
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, I don't have any. I'm not going to make any judgments or opinions. I don't know.
You possibly support someone who culturally appropriates.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit. I'll appropriate all the cultures. That's what the melting pot is.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Fuck it.
And the show opening was done by Goth himself, and it's always good. Frank Booth is in
Those are
there.
good.
Wish I
Yeah,
could talk about Frank Booth some more. We should do a.
we should.
You know,
I just watched Blue Velvet on David
Oh,
Lynch's birthday.
beautiful
and,
movie.
Dude, I think it may have been my favorite viewing of Blue Velvet. I think it was my third viewing of it. And
Yeah, really?
It may have been my favorite. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Nothing
I
nothing
get
different
more-
about what I was doing.
I
It's
get
just fucking awesome.
more out of that film than any other Lynch film when I watch it.
What is it in that movie that does it for you? If
You know,
were to pin it down to one thing. If you can. It's hard to do.
I'm gonna honestly say it's the acting in that. It's probably the best acted thing Lynch has. Everybody in it knows their character. He's, you look at a movie like Inland Empire, no one has any fucking idea what they're doing. And admittedly, they were given the scripts that day. They didn't know what they were filming. Mulholland Drive, like I've said, is a little bit of a mess. And just everybody in that nails their part. They understood the role.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can say in every David Lynch stuff, because part of his charm is that not everybody gets it. That's even in the movie. And this one, there's no scene where I kind of roll my eyes and go, okay, yeah, I get the joke. No, everybody's it's his Chinatown. You know what I mean? Like, just really smoothly done. All the characters are believable. There's not a scene in any part of that movie where I don't believe what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. And I think to add to that, I have to align my view of that, of like all the weird shit that happens that with, I heard David Foster Wallace give like a little bit of like a review or talk about Blue Velvet. He loved it. He was a big fan of the movie. And he was just talking about how everything weird that happens in that movie, like everything with, especially the Yellow Man and Isabel Wilson, his husband in that.
Yeah.
When Jeffrey Dolan walks into them, just dead, they're in a fucking weird position, right?
Yeah.
That yellow Man standing, and everyone looks fucking weird, but there's something about it that still makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah.
About how it's all laid out. Nothing about it seems like it wasn't supposed to be like that.
No, it feels curated. Like I wasn't gonna it feels like that scene makes sense for the world that they live in.
I did a poor job in explaining it the way he did it, but if you guys search David Foster Wallace Blue Velvet, I'm sure you'll find a better explanation than what I was able to give right now.
We'll talk about we'll do a review of Blue Velvet one day. We'll get to that.
Totally, yeah.
I would love to talk about Blue Velvet. We'll do all the Lynch films.
Yeah, one subject episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a cool thing to do.
This episode was directed by Leslie Linka Glatter. I'm sure we've talked about her before. Worked on TV shows like NYPD Blue, Law and Order SVU, Freaks and Geeks, West Wing. Pretty much a dependable hand in the TV realm, and we find out why in this episode. I think she did an excellent job as a director in this episode. An excellently shot episode. Written by Mark Frost. Mark has a lot of good ideas about Twin Peaks that have thus been totally forgotten, misused, mishandled. I've said it before. The Mark Frost books are first drafts until David Lynch gets a hold of it.
Yeah, until David Lynch said
it. He looks at it and goes, I'm not going to do any of this, and then just fucking chucks it. And then that's it. That's the end of Mark. Mark Frost is pretty much a useless, the most useless man in Twin Peaks. I hate to say it. It's just what he is. Like,
unfortunately. Yeah,
he has so many, and this episode specifically, I'm going to spoil it. I'm not going to say anything. And he does an excellent job with all of the characters. The writing is superb.
Oh yeah, especially Audrey.
Yeah. Oh, she's perfect in this. So we'll start out fantastically. One of my favorite openings in Twin Peaks. The brilliant Cooper's frustration, his agitation, the singing, him talking to Diane. That I love. Just holding
it up. It's so
it is perfect. And his face just being like, and he holds like a dramatic pause. And we learn that Cooper is a light sleeper. He mentions being in New York, not being able to sleep. I just think that in general, he's not a very, very heavy sleeper, which is funny because he's from Philadelphia,
Pretty used to the noise, right?
Yeah, it's fucking, I lived in Philadelphia. It is not a quiet city to live in.
Maybe a lot of that noise is a lot more treble. And since all the noise is on his
floor, the thing that I've noticed is I need noise to sleep, and I've lived in big cities, and I live by highways, and I've lived in stuff like that. And the noise in a city and the noise in a town are way different.
Oh yeah.
When I used to go to my ex's, she's from a town like Twin Peaks, like one stoplight in the whole town. I think her graduating class was 30. And when we would go there, I couldn't sleep because I could hear everything. I could hear
what's going on in the
in the whole town. I could hear a truck coming in. Like it would drive me. I'd be like, I can't sleep like this. And I'm used to like noise. Yeah.
A city is like a symphony of noise,
yes,
but it's more
that's a beautiful way to put it. It's a symphony of sounds. It's a symphony, it's a cacophony of just beautiful. And so I think Cooper's problem is that he's not used to this small town life. And now motherfuckers are singing. And I love their singing too, because it continues well into the morning. And
that's the best part.
I want to point out something that I really like about Cooper here is he still, in his frustration, points out something to the waitress that, oh, they're going to need a day or two to reset their clocks. Like he's still very observant. And I like that. It's a very nice detail of him just be like, okay, I get it. I'm still frustrated, but here's a fact about it. Like very in character. And Miss Horn shows up and she looks extra nice here. She looks extra pretty. She's beautiful. Always something about her. Her coyness or something. And Cooper's in no mood for BS, but he still flirts with her. And the line here, that's the most obvious flirt is, you know what I'm going to say. How old are you? 18. We'll see you later.
It's the little silence before we'll see you later.
It was, and it's how his voice went up. Like, oh, we'll see you. It was so. That's the horniest we've seen Cooper thus far, like by a long shot. Like he's so tired he couldn't keep it together.
That's the horniest we see him. I don't think we see him any more horny.
Even when he bangs Annie, he's not horny because I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't be.
Who would be?
Yes, I mean Heather Graham is beautiful, but if I had to listen to her fucking talk for more than a second, I'd fucking have to kill myself.
At least says Annie.
Yeah, put on some roller skates and shut the fuck up, Heather Graham. And we move to Mr. Jerry Horn, who's also fantastic here, over the top. And we see why he's Ben's man in the field. He's charming, he's fun, he's a diplomat. You know?
He's a people person, yeah.
He's a people person. And, He's got that terrible outfit on. Fucking so awful.
It's beautiful. He's like an older Ducky.
Yes. I was gonna say he looks like a fucking choir boy. The big vestment on or something, but I like Ducky from that. It's the hair that makes him look like Ducky. And he's got that leg of lamb. Leg of lamb looks excellent.
Oh yeah,
that's an excellent leg of lamb. And I love him talking about HEPA. You know,
HEPA. I always thought he was saying heifer as
like the steer.
Yeah,
from Rocco's Modern Life.
I said pig. Yeah, I meant cow. Sorry.
Yeah. And we get to meet HEPA later.
Yeah, and she's definitely not a cow.
No, so I would certainly say
she's very pretty, yeah.
Jerry has a line here that I really like, though. Ben's like, they're going to have the best and brightest Twin Peaks, and he goes, "Were we holding a phone booth?" And I'm like,
that's good.
Yeah. And then they're going to go to One-Eyed Jack's, and Leland shows up, and he's a mess. And I would simply not have this man back at work.
Oh yeah.
And I love that no one
would fire him or what?
No, I would take a leave because he's not doing well.
Yeah,
and no one cares.
Not taking an official leave yet.
No one cares. Ben and Jerry are so dismissive of him. They're so rude.
It seems typical for the Palmers for no one to pay attention to their problems, right?
Terrible issues that they have. Yeah.
No, but that's I think a relatively good point that even comes up later in the episode when you see him dancing in the end, and everyone's just like,
nobody gives a shit. Well,
yeah,
and he even says something. He says, "I'm scared," and they're just like, and he's like, he's confessing to something. I'm scared, and we never find out what he's.
It was even after Ben said, like, take Sarah.
He's like, I can't. I'm scared, and I would love to see where that went because there's a lot there that doesn't get explored.
Yeah.
We then go to Jacques Renault's apartment. Another fun set piece. We don't really ever see. I don't think we ever see Jacques' apartment again. And Cooper's he goes in and there's no donuts in the one thing, and are there more donuts? He's just so
He
broken.
sounded so sad and defeated
He's so
about it.
broken. It's the opposite of James asking for the fruit punch because I like Coop, so it's like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we find out that Jacques' blood is on Leo's shirt, an interesting factoid. And I like that he does it before Doc Hayward says it.
Mhm.
And Doc Hayward's like, what are you here for, Doc? What the fuck are you here for? Go home.
He's supposed to complete that photo op moment later on, and then they come in side by side.
Where he's also useless at, may I add. We'll get to that though. And so they find Flesh World. Is it sticking in the ceiling?
I never got that, dude. Like, what the fuck is
At first I thought maybe it was a paneled ceiling, but they show the ceiling and it's one solid piece.
Yeah.
So
I didn't get it.
How did he
I
fucking
missed it.
did he jack
Somebody
off?
tell
Like,
us.
stick it
Somebody
to the
tell
ceiling?
us, please.
Like, I don't understand.
You have to watch it again or something.
It was just supposed to be a funny gag, I guess, but it didn't work for me because I'm like, where did that come? Why is it on the ceiling?
Yeah.
It's like the scene in a scary movie where he fucking comes and she's plastered to the ceiling.
Yes.
That's what we're supposed to think. And I like how Coop knows a ton about Flesh World just right off the bat. Like he's he's indulged in the mail order prostitution. And how much of a pain in the ass is it to not have like a backdoor pages? They have to run their prostitution scam via mail.
Yeah.
Like we get the guy with the beard. He's no Georgia Peach.
Yeah.
And if you look at the writings on the page next to Leo, they don't make a ton of sense. The one above Leo's truck is attractive ebony male, 28, 5'1", 160 pounds, seeks female for friendship and erotic pleasure. That's certainly not Leo's.
Definitely not.
And then
No
below it,
pleasure.
below it is single white male, 25, 6'2", 175, young and virile. That could be Leo, I'm guessing.
Could be.
Is he 25 in this, do you think? He's supposed to be 25.
He could be. Because I mean, Shelly's how old? Like,
Shelly is 18. I'll get to that
18.
later because there's something about that I was surprised about. You think Leo's 6'2"?
No.
I don't think so either. But you're lying these things. You would lie in it.
Yeah, which is what leads me to believe is that the ebony male above
is Leo.
No, is actually the Twin Peaks wrestling coach.
He's 28 years old, 160 pounds.
He's lying about his weight. That's what he's lying about.
And his height, 5'1". He could be 5. Yeah. He could be 5'1". I don't know how tall that guy is. He's certainly lying about his age and his weight. I like that idea though. That's the
only black dude.
He's the only black guy on the whole show.
He's the only black dude I've seen in Twin Peaks. I'm sorry.
He is outside of the guy from the Mod Squad who was an FBI guy later.
Yeah.
There's
really that's what leads me to believe is that the gentleman, the ebony male,
is the
male.
This is canon now. We've solved it. The wrestling coach he's a squirrel trying to get a nut, huh?
Yeah.
We go to Leo's where, you know what, I want to say something about before is that Shelly cooks and she says Leo hates her cooking. Bobby, of course, says, what does Leo know? But he doesn't fucking eat any of it. So Shelly is a bad cook.
That's true. You don't see him eat any of it. That's true.
Shelly is obviously a terrible cook. Leo thinks she's a bad cook because Bobby's not going to say it. He's going to be like, oh yeah, baby, you're such a good cook.
You look so hot when you cook, babe.
Yeah, like, Shelly can't fucking cook. We've learned that. That's why she's and that's the thing. I knew a lot of servers that can't cook.
Yeah.
They just fucking depend on the kitchen to cook food. They can't cook as shit. Like,
have there been times where a server has had to go into the kitchen and cook?
Yeah, it's rare, but it's happened. To go on a tangent here, my wife couldn't cook. And I don't mean couldn't cook. I mean, she couldn't fucking microwave something. She would. Popcorn. Yeah, I made chili one time and I said, just put it in a bowl, put it in the microwave. I come home, there's a broken bowl. She had her hand cut. She hadn't eaten all day. And I'm like,
she hadn't eaten all day.
No, and she ran 2 restaurants and she had like a master's, like she was a super intelligent person. She couldn't fucking cook to save her life. Like if I didn't feed her, she would just die. And people at work, they would cook for her, and she had the most annoying thing that she would do at work. And she would come up to the kitchen and look at one of us, and if I wasn't there, she would still do this to other people, not just me. She would go, "I'm hungry," and expect us just to figure out what that meant. We would just make her food, and she would never say what she wanted. Well, what do you want? Hungry.
Hungry.
Roll her eyes and a big. That's why I can't stand people rolling their eyes. She does it all the time, and we would have to figure it out, and it would be a big problem if she didn't. And she did to me one day, and another girl walks up to me like 2 days later and goes, "I'm hungry." And I said, "Get the fuck out of my goddamn kitchen." So don't ever fucking come over here and do that shit to me again. How dare you try that on me?
That was like a secret thing for you now. Everybody can, it was never allowed to say, "I'm hungry."
No, I hate it. It's a trigger now. But she did it to me, and she, yeah, and I was like, "How?" She's like, "Well, I thought she couldn't close her mouth properly. I saw your wife do it," and I'm like, "Fuck you! She can do it. You can't do it. Get the fuck out of here."
What?
That was perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect. Yeah. So servers often can't cook. I know this from experience. None of them can fucking do anything. That's why I date them. It's fine. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I think it's interesting. The first few times I watched this, I thought Shelley was a year or so older than the rest of the kids. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, she's the same age.
I just always assumed the first couple times I watched it, because like she dropped out in 11th. They mentioned her dropping out in 11th grade as if it's a long time ago. Do you know what I mean? Not last year.
Yeah.
They just how they talk about it is like, oh, she dropped out in the 11th grade. Like that was
Leo.
Yeah, that was so long ago and not last year. It just
weird
how
shit,
they
man, some weird statutory shit.
Yeah, well, and you know what's funny about this is Madison is 3 years younger than Dana here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
In real life. I just always assumed the first couple times I watched it, I was like, oh, she must be 19 or 20. You know what I mean? Just how they act towards her. Because no one acts like they went to school with her. They act like she's doesn't exist when they went to school with her for 11 years.
Mm-hmm. So they had that long at least.
Yeah.
It took a year to fucking make that much of a disconnect.
Yeah.
So it's been.
They just totally, it's only been, well, they're only seniors, so it's only been a year. It could have only been a year.
Yeah, only a year then.
Maximum, it's the end of the year, so 2 years, like it's not that long ago. Just how everybody treats Shelley is so like, oh, that bitch dropped out in the 5th grade.
Everybody else,
yeah. And I want to say Bobby and Shelley have a lot of chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of chemistry. Very sexy.
Very sexy couple. Very sexy.
And they have fantasies of making Leo their bang maid, or what is their fantasy here? They're going to make Leo cook for them?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that hot for them? Does that do it for you? I don't want a guy who beats up my married girlfriend to cook for me.
Well, you know that Bobby wants to make a cuck on Leo.
So that's what I wasn't going to use the C word, the cuck word, but it's definitely a cuck fantasy. It's a cuckold fantasy. I just don't. I think it's overused, you know. But in this case,
out of context too, right?
Yeah, often out of people are like, "Oh, cuck." I'm like, I doesn't mean. This is definitely about cucking Leo.
Yeah, absolutely.
The correct usage.
There's an example of it later.
Yeah. Bobby's sexy gunplay is interrupted by his sheer panic when he thinks it's Leo arriving. And I want to say, I knew a girl who, I didn't know the guy that did this to her, but she got shot in the vagina because the guy was using it as a toy and wasn't practicing trigger discipline properly, I guess. And she was okay. She has a hole in her back. She was a nice girl, but got shot in the vagina. So don't play with your guns like that.
I mean, as nice as a girl can be,
who got shot in the vagina.
How good can a girl really be if she got shot in the
I don't, I didn't know her intimately, so I don't know. She was a polite person who was open to talk.
Just
She
as
was open,
polite and as
yeah,
nice as
as
can
nice
be
as
as
one
for
that
someone who got shot in the
I
vagina.
think if you get shot in the genitals, any sort of rudeness you would have is gone.
I think you were living some kind of scummy ass lifestyle when you got shot in your genitals.
I think you gotta find Jesus after that, honestly, if you're getting shot in the fucking genitals.
Only way to go.
Like if I got shot in my genitals, I'm gonna probably change the way my life is going.
Wait, so you said she got a hole through her back?
It went out her back, the bullet. I mean, it just is what it is.
I'm not saying anything else.
Extra holes there. So and we get to see Andy show up, and Shelly is a great liar. She shows it here. She's so convincing. She's just like, oh, I don't know. Oh my God, I don't know. And I believe it. And Andy, of course, believes it. And Bobby's getting rock hard watching her lie to the cops.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say he's loving that.
He's like, oh yeah, like these two,
so good.
These two are thrill seekers. You know what I mean? No wonder they don't last. I mean, you can't escalate this level after after cuckoldery and police lying. I don't know where you go.
And gunplay too.
And gunplay. I don't know where you go sexually from that. Where you move from that.
What's what did they say in that first episode in the car? The stage rocket.
It's a 10-stage pocket rocket. What the fuck?
It's 65 stages.
What David Lynch thinks teenagers sound like? Is that no fucking idea what he's talking about. They might be my favorite couple, except a couple we'll see in a moment. So Leo calls blah blah blah, but another couple who gets some stolen moments together is Norma and Ed. Oh, yeah. And this is another great scene. They both feel hurt. Hank is coming home or back as she corrects herself. I like that. It was very subtle, very little thing that she says.
Yeah.
And it sucks for them. They give up themselves every day. You know what I mean? Like Nadine's mental illness, Hank's violence. They just have to endure these people around them.
Yeah.
And it's very sad because, what does Norma say here? They never want to hurt anybody. They never take what's theirs. And
yeah. They don't want to.
A very sincere. Yeah. What do you make of it?
I mean, because doing what you want, trying to go follow your own bliss, you can potentially hurt other people in the process, and they just don't have the heart to do it.
No, and
so
Nadine
it's heartbreaking.
Is definitely mentally ill. Like Nadine's mentally ill. Like she needs help.
Oh, yeah.
And not the help in this town, like a real help.
And it's sad, man, because when I see Nadine interact with Ed, it's I know what's going on. Like Ed is cheating on her with and everything.
But what? She knows it too.
Yeah, it's a denial thing, right? So I don't know. It breaks your heart to see. It really breaks your heart to see him, but also you got to understand that that's gonna fucking hurt someone, both people on the end of that.
It's not doing them any good to be in this relationship. It's not doing anybody any good. I mean, we move from what is a rather sad scene to another erotic display by Miss Audrey Horne, with a young Emery Battis. And she's so good here. She changes from like sweet to Audrey like that. And her facial expressions, her voice, her cadence, her attitude. He's hesitant to give her the perfume counter because he's, smart because he's running a hoe train through there. And then she threatens to get the man done for rape.
Oh yeah.
Like shit. And he loves it. We find out this is his kink later. But you can tell here when he goes, Miss Horne, and he's got a pocket rocket when he says that. Talk about fucking hell, man. He was, and I was all about it. I'm not even a guy who's into that, but I'd call her Miss Horne if that's what it required. If that's what it took, call you whatever the fuck you want. Call you grandma. Shit. She was on fire here. She's been on fire as a good character, as an interesting character, a femme fatale and intelligent and just a great character. So thus far.
That wouldn't be my. It was a great scene with Audrey. It wasn't my favorite scene in the episode with her though.
No, that's coming up. That's coming up
Yeah.
later, I think.
Mhm.
We then move to a gazebo. What I reviewed a movie recently called Christmas Bounty, where they kept talking about gazebos. There wasn't one fucking gazebo in the movie. It was trellises. They kept using trellises and saying they were gazebos.
I don't even know what a trellis is.
It's like so it's like often a plastic or wooden piece that you can walk through. Often people will walk through with like a marriage thing and there's plants on it. Like a circle, that's a trellis. It'll often be an accent piece. You'll walk through it through a restaurant or through a marriage thing. It's just a circle thing like this that has plants on it. It's a trellis.
Okay.
A gazebo is an entire structure.
Oh yeah, it's a whole
It's
thing.
it's like an octagonal structure.
You are in it.
Yeah, you can go in it.
Yeah.
And they kept saying gazebos, something about New Jersey and gazebos. Wasn't one fucking gazebo in the whole goddamn movie. And I watched my review.
Gazebo. What
Yeah,
you talking
and I
about?
got a little hot about it. And I think I broke into like a Jersey accent yelling about it too, because it's hard not to. I'm watching a movie about
These
Jersey.
goddamn cocksuckers don't know what a fucking gazebo is.
Yeah, you sound like that's a good cab driver guy. You know what I mean?
I was trying to be Joey Diaz.
You can't be Joey Diaz. You don't want to do
What do you mean I can't, cocksucker?
I love listening to him talk. I want to hear him narrate stuff. I watch a lot of guys on Instagram. They're like Italian mooks, like Gabones from fucking New York review food because I just get a kick out of it. You know what I mean? I went down to the fucking deli here. I got a fucking ham and egg on a bagel. Hey, boy, hey, man, what are you doing back here, Moochie? You know what I mean? I love listening to these motherfuckers talk. And then they always give it some arbitrary review. It's 3 or 4 cabs out of 9. Hey, pomade. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck anybody's talking about, but it's fantastic.
Give it a score up for a non-related reason or something.
Yeah, it's like give him 3 Joe
I like
Pesci.
the guy's hair, so I'm gonna give it another.
I'll give him 3
sandwich
Joe Pesci's for the gazebo. Like, it doesn't fucking mean anything. But I love listening to him. I like New York. It's got a lot of culture. I've been there a number of times. Famously smoked crack in Central Park.
Nice.
As a famous story of mine.
That's like a tourist attraction, right?
It's the tour. You can see if you go there and you Google map it, it'll say Sean smoked crack. Hey, fucking here.
No, isn't that like a touristy thing to do? To smoke crack
you go there,
Central Station?
Yeah, you go there and get some crack and fucking smoke it in Central Park. Shit. And there's one time I was there and I saw a man eat a bag of Burger King. And he just he sat down on a park bench and he just kept reaching into this endless bag. And I was just watching the guy. And I'm like, good God, how are you? And he's just devouring it. And he's wearing a full suit. I'm thinking, this man's an animal. This is a Wall Street guy here. He's going to fucking crunch some numbers after this. He'll burn it all off. It was yeah. I love New York. I love a good delicatessen. They got too many pizza places. It's possible to decide, but good places to smoke crack, and no one gives a shit if you're smoking crack because it's New York.
I've always wanted to go to New York, but just never.
You're in the whole other side of you're in the wrong fucking part of town, brother. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself in New York. You're used to people. People being nice to you.
Surprise, yeah. I'd be in for a surprise. For sure.
Are people nice to you when you walk down the street?
No, dude. No, it's not like that here. It's not. I'm the one who manages to stay nice, and it's a ton of unnice people.
New York is nobody's mean to you. No one's nice to you. You are totally ignored. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You could be yelling and screaming and shouting and pissing and
everyone's minding their own business. Yeah.
They're not even minding. They don't even know what they're doing. They're so it's New York. They got some kind of fucking weird blinders on where nothing is going on. Nothing.
Just the objective in front of them.
Yeah, and
because everyone's in a fucking rush, right?
Yeah, and I was in San Diego for quite a spell, and everyone was very polite out there, and it was a marked difference for me for being like, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, where everybody's a fucking asshole because they're mean. New York, no one cares. Philadelphia, everybody's fucking mean. Pittsburgh, everybody's fucking mean. It's called the Pennsylvania hello. You know what it is? You look at someone, they go, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Yeah.
It's the Pennsylvania hello. You're gonna get it in either one of those fucking places. Because I go back to Always Sunny. That's a very accurate representation of Philadelphia. Everybody's a fucking asshole. They are mean and they are drunk and they are not happy with whatever's going on. So stay in California until the big quake comes and they fucking sends you cocksuckers out to fucking the ocean and you're done.
If you learn to swim.
Can you swim? Are you a good swimmer?
Not a strong swimmer.
Yeah, not when.
Not see when all down in Arizona Bay.
Yeah, not when Snake Plissken comes and he's surfing the wave. Him and Paul Newman.
Oh yeah.
So we go to James and Donna. Sorry about the rant there.
No, that was fun. That was fun.
We go to James and Donna, and God, James's mom's a whore. There you go. That's the conversation. That's it.
It makes you feel a little bit bad for him.
I don't, because he can't he doesn't react to it right. He like tries to cry and then he turns away and just goes like stares blankly out. And Laura Flynn Boyle tries her best. God love her. She's like has her makeup running a little bit, so it looks like she's tearing up, and she holds him, but he's just so stiff.
It's hard to work with.
It's like working around a mannequin. It's not, yeah, it sucks. So back to Jacques. And Coop is throating the fucking donut down. And they tie in the drapes to the dream into the real world. And that's Mark Frost written all over it. He wants to explain the things.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want them just be abstract concepts. This is a thing that means a thing. You know what I mean? Taking off these fucking headphones. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah,
what happened?
they were messing with my, I don't know what they were doing. And so I have a question about the cabin. They don't know Jacques has a cabin. This is a matter of public record.
Right, it would be.
So
yeah.
They don't know that he has it. Why would they not know this? This is bad police work. This is like day one police work. Jacques Renault. Find me everything about Jacques Renault. Well, he's got an apartment in a cabin. Okay. Do some due diligence is all I'm saying, Coop. All right.
No, yeah. It's surprising that Coop didn't catch that.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, does Jacques Renault have a cabin? How does no one know about these? Like, people live in them. We see that later.
Yeah,
and it's next to someone.
The show wouldn't exist.
And it's next to someone that they know. They know someone who lives by his cabin. Okay, so we go back to the double R, and James and Maddie and Donna, they stink up the joint. Maddie won't shut the fuck up about a bunch of shit no one cares about. And we find out the people in Twin Peaks put ketchup on their fries. I don't care for that. I'm a dipper.
I'm a dipper too. I like to dip.
See, yeah, I don't want it. They get some soggy. My hands get dirty. No.
Yeah.
No.
I get to control the quantity of ketchup I want.
But maybe I want not just ketchup. Maybe I want to try a couple of different things to dip in. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Maybe I want 3 or 4 different things to dip. Famously here, the tween detective agency is off and running with these fucking morons. They're going to solve this case themselves. Yep. Spoilers, they do not.
Because they fucking suck.
They don't do anything. And she leaves her fucking drink behind, doesn't even drink it.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I want a cherry Coke or what the fuck, a cherry Pepsi or something. And she leaves it there in the fucking. I hate that bitch. And I would shoot her in the vagina. That's what I would do.
Cool.
That's the theme for today. No cocks this time, fellas. No furious cock talk. It's all vagina blasting.
Feminist talk.
This is the feminist issue episode of the DarkPeaks podcast. It's all vaginas, clitorals, and hoods.
Again, letting the female demographic.
Women love this. It's a height of.
True.
They're watching it. I don't know. We get a fairly it's 60-40 people women watching this. 40%. It's about what I expected. I expected less actually for women.
Same.
We're also not talking.
You really caught me by surprise right now.
We're also not talking about true crime, so women are interested in this. That's all they like to listen to. That fucking true crime bullshit. If we talk about action,
that's a very safe generalization for sure.
if we talk about actual guys raping and murdering women, they're all about it for some reason. I don't know why, but that's horrifying. Hank is also there, who may or may not have shot someone in his life at various places. And we see the double R girls and their fucking beehives, which just look terrible on them. It's just not a good look.
Yeah.
And Hank makes a
Very
statement here
dated. It's very dated.
that I don't care for. He says Shelley doesn't have much meat on her. Like, what a fucking thing. Shelley's she is beautiful. Like, she is
and also, why are you making that kind of observations here? Why too?
So what? She's skinny. Fuck you, Hank. Just because you were used to getting fucked by chubby dudes in jail, you piece of garbage. Like, that was such a that I don't know. I heard that. I'm like, what the fuck is? How are you? Why are you commenting on her figure in front of your wife? First off,
well, shows he's still a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, that's a piece of shit thing to do. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And how are you commenting on
that he's not going to change?
Yeah, how are you commenting on this beautiful woman and you're saying that, oh, she's got a look? Don't objectify her, you cock. I say after all the shooting vagina talk, I go into my don't objectify women talk.
You got to balance it out, right?
I'm a man of walking contradictions. It's fun. And we go to Jacoby and the Briggses for their family therapy session. And I want to point out that Garland Briggs has definitely, the way they describe it, has definitely killed a number of people.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he says, have you ever killed anybody? My dad has. And they don't say, oh, he killed one guy in war, or, oh, it was a thing that happened in war. He describes killing men in wartime. Like, it's a frequent thing, or it's happened a number of times for him.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't get into that, but that's a heavy revelation to lay on somebody. Like, my dad has definitely murdered people and we won't discuss it. Like, if I'm a therapist, there's a topic.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a topic.
But no, Jacoby proves he's a terrible psychiatrist by using private information from another of his patients to abuse this patient for no gain. What does he get from abusing Bobby?
Nothing.
Humiliating him.
Yeah.
Nothing about this. It doesn't help Bobby. He insults him. He insults Laura. It's cruel.
Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff is he's also trying to, get Bobby to, wake up to Laura's true nature, right? I mean,
well, but they firmly put the blame on her for everything. That's all he does. She made me sell drugs.
I don't think that's 100% his view on how it happened. I think the subject of this matter. Okay, I'm actually going to flip this. Actually, I think he was extra focused in on. I'm going to give Jacoby the benefit of the doubt here. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But I'm going to say that he was putting the focus on Bobby and making Bobby the subject, and that was being talked about, and trying to help Bobby heal with whatever was going on. To help Bobby understand that, Laura wasn't this, person on this pedestal he put up to be. And also a lot of that stuff can be for personal reasons too, because of how, he felt about Laura as well.
Well, I like to point out, we never hear Bobby putting Laura on a pedestal. He's cheating on her all the time. Even in this conversation, at no point is he acting like Laura was the love of his life. He barely brings her up.
Yeah, you're right.
I would buy that if Bobby was hung up. If this was James, you're right. But no, right. Bobby barely acknowledges Laura. He barely pays attention to her. He barely cares that she's dead.
That great when she was around. So
yeah. So it's not like he's trying to wake Bobby up to understanding that he had a bad relationship. He knew he had a bad relationship. That's why he cheated on her a bunch.
You're right. I disregarded that fact.
But no, I like the logic. If it was somebody else, that if they had portrayed Bobby as a lovesick kind of like, I really miss my girlfriend despite her actions, I would have been with you on that, because that's a fair point. Like, if that's what he was doing, but he's not, and Jacoby's just being mean. He's just being mean. And he's using what Laura said to him in private against him, which you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And all it does is humiliate Bobby for something that had nothing to do with him.
You're
For
right. In
Jacoby
the
to
end,
get
it was
off
more
or whatever.
negative, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they put the blame firmly on Laura at the end. She made me sell drugs. She didn't fucking make you sell drugs, dude. You sold drugs. You chose to do that.
Like he mentally felt obligated to sell drugs to please her.
I guess, but like I don't buy that because Bobby was doing the drugs.
Yeah,
He was the one
into it
mad
too.
that they got burned on drugs. Like he was the one upset about it. Yeah. And we move to the crew in the woods. And once again, why is Dr. Jacoby there? A, they're walking into a potential crime scene. B, they don't know if someone's there. Bernard Renault could be there.
Jacoby?
Yeah, Jacoby. Oh, I mean, Hayward. Why is Dr. Hayward there? They're walking into a crime scene that could be potentially dangerous because there could be another. They don't know that Bernard Renault is dead, so he could be there, or Jean Renault, or Jean Michael, or Jean Pierre, or Jean Paul Jones, or fucking one of the Renaults could goddamn be there. They don't know who's going to be there, and they're walking into a potentially hazardous firing situation, and they have a civilian that can't keep up and isn't helpful in this situation.
Hey, I said it before.
For the photo op.
That photo opportunity, the photo op. You know,
which I'd like to point out is a picture that we've all used for memes on more than one occasion.
Place any band logo in
front. Yeah, you can do. I think I did one for Rap Peaks. I think it was like that, and it's perfect.
I think you did. Yeah.
It's an easy picture to use because it's so goofy. You make a good point there. Once again, simply for aesthetics, it's acceptable.
For aesthetic value, it adds a lot.
And I do have a question about this, though. We get to Margaret's cabin, and they're surprised that she's there.
Yeah.
They don't know she lives there?
I guess they don't.
How do they not know she lives there?
What? Bad police work.
How do you not know where people live in your fucking town?
Because they never question where she lived.
Well, also, this is the person I would want to keep tabs on, the lady who talks to a fucking log. I would keep tabs on her. Where the fuck is she at? What is she doing?
Nobody fucks the blog lady, okay?
Yeah, but you don't fuck with her, but you want to know. You want to know where she's at.
You want to know where she's at.
I want to know. Well, I would know. I'm a much better cop than these cops here. Obviously, I'm much better at police work.
Yeah, that's why you don't fucking belong there. That's why you don't belong there.
I'm obviously there would be so much less crime or more crime because if I could see how much I can get away with, I'd be fucking talk about drugs coming
tempting, right?
I'd be like, come on in, bring it in, fella. Load it up. Mr. Horn, I got your supply. Like, I don't give two fucking shits. This town, what's gonna happen? Yeah, just don't kill the beauty queen or the prom queen, we'll be fine. Everything else that's going on is fine. Teresa Banks got murdered, yeah, but she was a whore, so no one cares. Like,
she was a fucking whore. Yeah. Nobody fucking cares.
So no one gives a shit about that. All right, what are we? And
Doc
this is a great.
He doesn't need.
This is a great scene. Once again, Hawk he's trying to get some cookies. He's like, whoa. Trying to get some. She got sugar cookies.
He's got some of the munchies from.
Been smoking up on. And I love her. She's talking about owls, her log, and fires, and going back to this scene. You think it's the first time you watch it, or the first couple of times, it's really esoteric what she's talking about. But now that we know all the stuff, everything she's talking about makes sense to me.
Oh, totally. Yeah. You think the Gotta Light guy is
no? I think the guy in Fire Walk with Me is though.
Which one from
the in the woodsman?
With the beard?
The colored, the non-black woodsman above the convenience store. In that scene, he's there. It's just one woodsman there, I think, and I think that's her husband.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
he's a more.
He said, what did she say in the episode? She said he saw the devil, or the devil took him.
He saw the devil, and the devil is fire, because that means he died in a fire. And I'm assuming that's something to do with the lodges, something like that, because the motor oil that she's familiar with later. You know what I mean? She's familiar with that smell. I'm assuming, I don't know what he died or what, but I'm assuming it's something to do with the lodges, just based on everything we know about her.
Yeah.
And the fact that his soul is in the wood, but I think he's also that woodsman in Fire Walk with Me. I have nothing but that I think that.
Okay.
And also
That's-
because in that he's presented as helpful, sort of. He's not presented as malevolent. He's presented as one of the people that are kind of like watching what's going on, can communicate, because everybody in there are people that can communicate with the outside world, except for the jumping man. You know what I mean?
I guess when I heard her say the devil took him, or he saw the devil, whatever it was, it just led me to believe that he got overtaken by an evil, malevolent force.
That's also a fair point. I didn't think about that.
With the God of Light guy, you know?
I think that the God of Light guy though was in the 50s.
Yeah, so is that not the correct timeline for how old she is and how old he would have been?
He died on their wedding day, but I don't think she'd have been that old. Because she's not much older than Sarah Palmer. She'd have been a little kid.
Well, you know, if okay, so that was in the 50s. So
let's say 70s. She got married. Let's just 70. Let's say 70, just as a base.
Well, I think. Oh wait, also sorry.
I think I don't think it would have lined up with the 50s just because the age difference. Right. She's not that old. Right. Comparatively to everybody else, to Leland and Sarah, who would have been about the same age.
Especially considering the God of Light guy was pretty fucking old too. So
yeah, well, but you know, it's also a spirit. He could have been taken over by that spirit. We've seen, you know, Bob and Mike, and they're not. Bob is not a 30-year-old guy. You know what I mean? He's an entity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So very much he could have been taken by the God of Light guy. Much like Philip Gerard is taken over by, you know what I mean, by Mike and a number of other people. So there's a viable option there. And hey, who's to say that the God of Light guy and the guy in Fire Walk with Me aren't the same person?
True.
He ascended beyond, maybe as a woodsman, you get color when you ascend. You know what I mean? You level up, get your color. I mean, I don't know. Who's to say? It's possible as anything else, really.
Yeah.
So potentially we could both be.
That's what's so fucking great about Twin Peaks, right? You can tweak one little thing in the details.
Oh yeah.
Or bring up one little thing that everyone forgot, one little detail that everyone forgot about, and that changes everything.
So we're potentially both right about this situation. You know what I mean? He was taken by the entity.
I like hearing so many theories, man.
But when he was taken, his natural goodness overcame it at some point. He became more baseline than evil. It's very, you know, very whatever.
Oh.
She then recites what she saw happening at the cabin, which is funny because, you know, no one knows anybody lives out here. So, you know, she saw a third man. So we get a confirmation of the third man, and we get confirmation that it probably wasn't Leo or Jacques that did it. Sort of writing those two out. They didn't do it, probably, if based on this. I kind of like that. We've got a lot going on here. And then we get the fun picture, and we get to Jacques' cabin, and he's had Julie Cruz playing for several days on his record player,
yeah,
which is not how record players
that's
work.
how that works.
Yeah. I'd like to point out, that's not how record players work.
But then you have Dale mentioning there's always music in the air. So it brings that.
Have a radio on then. Why don't have a radio on then?
Because it's that much more weird.
I solved it. We meet Waldo, and we see some film that Hawk instantly exposes to the light. Pops it open. Hey, some film in here. Hey, guys. Clearly a crime scene, and we see the one-eyed Jack token with the, you know how much pressure it would take to bite through one of those fucking tokens.
Oh yeah.
So Laura was in quite the distress.
She would have broken a tooth before.
Oh yeah. They also, a strange thing is they didn't clean up this cabin, right?
No.
But they put the tokens away.
Yeah. They put the token in the
they cleaned that. Not the blood or the gore or the rope. Okay, whatever.
I don't know why. It's stupid.
It was just for the visual of the cuckoo clock, but they could have easily just found it on the floor and it wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah.
We then move to something that's I don't want to get into. I'll get into something that I find incredibly weird. We move to the Ben Horn and his great Scandinavian goings-ons at the and where's that? We see Jerry talking to Hepa. We finally meet Hepa. He tells her about the American figure of speech. Pete is great here. Your entire country is above the timberline, and he's chugging milk.
Yeah.
I love it. Pete is great here. He's got one line, nails it. Yeah. Jerry and Pete in this episode are the best comedy.
Oh hell yeah, they're hilarious.
What does he say? Hepa, I want to cook for you. I just love
I
it.
want to cook for you.
I love it. I love them. Catherine's cattiness is also great. She just pours fucking wine. And here's where my problem runs in. So Catherine meets Ben in his office, right?
Okay.
And we know that because Audrey is looking into his office. We've seen her do this before. We saw Josie sitting in his office in the dark.
That's exactly what I was going to mention.
Where is Josie?
Yeah, where was she?
It's the same office.
Smoking,
it's the same. It's the same lamp. So it's the same office.
They already showed her smoking and everything.
She was sitting in the dark, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, where the fuck?
Where's Josie? Is she under the desk? What do you mean?
I don't know, man. I was thinking the same thing, and I couldn't think of anything that.
It's so weird. It's so jarring. Like, I'm like, wait, is that a different office? No, it's the same office.
This is one of the things that's fun to play with once you get Twin Peaks as a whole in.
Yeah.
You know, then you can, once you can finish the return.
I can't get my head around this one though. This sounds just like a production error.
Well, I know that's the thing. I think that's what gets in the way of you having fun with it, because that's not what they meant for it to be. It's just for them, you know.
You're saying that Ben Horn has two offices that look exactly the same in this building. And he uses one
to reverse.
Yeah. And where are they at? Are they at opposite ends of the building, or are they?
It could be very possible he just has two offices. I mean, that's his fucking place, right?
Yeah, but okay, he'd have to have them close enough to get from the ballroom to it and back quickly.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No. I'm just being an
Back at that fucking ball pretty fucking quick.
Asshole.
Audrey's the only one that's sad about Leland shows up and he wants to dance, and
that was my favorite part of her arc in this episode.
Is it she's the only person that gives a shit that this man is clearly having a mental breakdown?
You see her.
Yeah.
I think what it does is that it makes the death of Laura more real for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I think she sees that there is other people affected by this, and she sees how unaffected everybody else is looking at Leland. And I think in that sense, is getting a good understanding of how Laura may have felt. You know.
Do you think that reaffirms her want to solve the case?
Yeah, I think in the end it's still for more selfish reasons, because she's that attracted to Coop, but I think it makes her feel better about getting that much involved.
But she can also say, I'm doing it for good reasons too, because I saw this thing. There's also a little bit of altruism in it. Yeah. She can. Yeah, I think that's an excellent way of putting it. Honestly,
that's why it was my favorite, moment of hers in the episode.
It gave her a lot of gravitas as a character. Showing we saw so many sides of Audrey in this episode, and this was a very vulnerable one that I really liked.
I think that vulnerability scared her too, which is why she took that vulnerability to Coop, which is the only person.
Yes, we'll get to that in a minute, though. We'll get to that in a minute. Leland's dance in general was great. Ben and Catherine are great about it. Dance with him. What? It's important. Like.
I love when Ben says, "Get him out of my life."
Yes, I love it. It looked like this scene reminded me of a sitcom. You know what I mean? Yes, like it was something out of I can't name a sitcom outside of Seinfeld. Family Matters. It's something out of Family Matters. Leland Palmer was Urkel, and Carl was Ben.
With a Urkel.
He's doing the Urkel. Yeah. Family Matters Twin Peaks. It just hit me. Family Matters Twin Peaks. I may look into doing that.
Family Peakers. Oh
boy, we'll discuss this later, because that's a good idea.
I got to rewatch a lot of Family Matters.
I have not seen Family Matters since 1995.
Yeah, that was my favorite. It was one of my.
I loved it. That was a great show. And I want to say this presented as a I like that it was a black family that wasn't a black comedy. You know what I mean? They were just regular, living their life, doing their normal stuff. And there's nothing wrong with like a black comedy like that, but so often I feel like, because I've known a lot of black people that like didn't like stuff like Tyler Perry because they thought it was tokenization or pandering. Like their families were just regular, normal families. They weren't, necessarily had to be presented in. Different... I mean, they're all valid. It's all a valid thing. Mm-hmm. I just like that they were just.
Well, you see this representation of this kind of style of family.
Yeah, like the nuclear black family, which is like you never see that anymore. You never see it, and I think that there's something to be said for that being a disparage the way that Hollywood sees black families. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into that whole thing, but I think it's kind of sad that there's so much tokenization and so much we have to present it in a certain way that's not always valid for every African American or black family out there. You know what I mean? Or in general. I just like they presented a family that was just like regular, you know what I mean? Everyday people. And irrelevant to their race or creed or anything like that. And you wouldn't get that. I feel like now they would lean heavily into some kind of weird.
I just can't get into anything now. I can't get into anything now because everything just feels like it's on some kind of agenda. So everything feels like it's something too forced. It's hard. It's hard for me to find stuff that I'm
especially really like comedies or sitcoms. I don't really watch sitcoms.
No, you know what? I finally started. Shout out to 30 Walk with Me. I finally started. My lady and I. We finally started.
You haven't watched that? That's one of the greatest fucking shows of all time.
No, I know, and we're loving every fucking second of it.
Oh my god! So and let me tell you something. It doesn't get. Sometimes you get seasons go on and it gets worse. It doesn't get any worse. It stays. It gets sillier. It gets sillier, but it stays consistently funny.
Awesome.
Like at no point am I. Yeah, it's a great show.
I've been getting all these ideas from memes, and I'm like, he probably.
He fucking did it. You cannot outdo him.
I did so much, dude.
I did one. I did the Eraserhead one, the night cheese one, which you haven't gotten to that episode yet.
No.
But I did one, and he loved it. And I was like, I didn't give this to him because I hate submitting stuff to him because his stuff's so fucking good.
His stuff's
and
very good.
Like I was like, I didn't do this to you, and he loved it. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have given it to you, but like I'm happy I got it because you liked it. But because there's a scene where Liz Lemon is in her slanket, it's like those blankets that you wear. I forget what they're called. And she's eating a block of cheese, singing Night Cheese. And Jack Donaghy knocks on her door and she goes, Jack, do you know what time it is? And he goes, I heard you singing Night Cheese. And like, that's the whole like line. And I had Henry from Eraserhead and the girl on the radio, and he's like, I heard you singing Night Cheese. And it's just her face.
You gotta send me that. That sounds fucking hilarious.
It's on my fucking page. You don't ever look at my stuff.
And did you post it? I'm supposed to fucking remember everything?
Like last week. I don't know. I do post a lot. Yeah. I post every day. I'm a consistent. I post every day, twice a day at least.
I'm like, man, I've been good about it though.
We've talked about this. We have different ways of doing our stuff. I am like the Henry Ford of memes.
Yeah, I will get
1,000 cars out this week, sir. Like, and they wax and wane in quality and in tone. And I know, but I try to just make them funny. That's all I'm really going for.
You're enjoying them.
Yeah, most of mine make me laugh, and that's all I really give a shit about. I love the Peep Show ones. They're not doing so great because it's not a well-known show.
I can tell you, it's fucking funny though.
Thank you. Like the people who like them have been really, really supportive, but it's not setting the world on fire. I'll tell you that right now. But it's such a watch that when you're done with 30 Rock.
30 Walk. I can't
say it.
I'm always saying 30 Walk, 30 Rock.
Watch Peep Show. It's fucking hilarious.
For sure.
It's just as funny as 30 Rock.
I have to watch it. There's a lot of shit that
if you can't tell by the memes, it's fucking great. It's a ridiculous show.
Yeah, I'm already buying it. I'm gonna love it.
Yeah. So then we go to Maddie sneaking around the Palmer house, and why? Leland's not there. Sarah's probably
slippers that she was wearing, those little fuzzy.
I want to say though, this is the best I've ever seen her look with her hair up. She looks very cute.
Yeah,
she doesn't normally look this cute. Normally I'm annoyed by her face, but she looks cute here. I'm a sucker for a ponytail. I'm a ponytail guy. That's a trigger for me. A ponytail. You get a nice
It's all in there.
ponytail.
She looks good with her hair
I'm
too,
done.
so.
Yeah, I'm a done. And I'll be on top of you. That's how Ava's mom got me. She just wore a ponytail. That was it. What are you doing? What's going on? Oh man.
I just wanted to get on top of you, that's all.
I will shoot you in the vagina, sir.
But I shoot a hole through my back. With what?
No. Well, I have a 44 here. It's quite big.
I thought you were talking about your dick.
Well, after the 44, the dick goes in.
Oh god.
That reminds me of that scene from Taxi Driver where he's talking about, you ever see what a 44 Magnum will do to a woman's pussy? That you should see.
That's a movie I need to fucking rewatch.
It's a fantastic movie.
I love that movie.
Travis Bickle, what a piece of garbage he is, huh? I watched that movie every night during high school.
Oh, good for you.
There's something definitely wrong with my brain. Like if they thought I was a school shooter and something, like I'm not gonna shoot up the whole school. No, I never was. I had to go to ninth grade. I had to go to what are those people called? Counselors. They were like, they thought I was gonna shoot the school up because I was weird. I'm like, I'm not gonna shoot the school up. What are you talking about? I was reading some philosophy book at the time, and some girl was like, what are you reading? And I was telling her what it's about, and she reported me because I was reading a philosophy book as if I was going to shoot at the school. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking, what the hell are you talking about?
What book was it?
I don't remember. It was probably like, I think it was a Nietzsche book because I was a edgelord. So it's probably a Nietzsche book. I don't remember which one. It was probably the Antichrist or Ishi Homo or something. And
what year was this?
2000 and
post Columbine.
2000, yeah, I want to say
post Columbine.
Definitely post Columbine.
So yeah,
but like nothing I was doing indicated that that I was gonna shoot. No one bullied me. I didn't even talk about playing Doom. I don't know what
but look at you.
I guess so. I didn't have a full beard in ninth grade.
No, I'm just imagining you.
I'm a character. I'm an aggressive character. Yeah, I guess so. I was offended. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna shoot I wanted to shoot the scope after that. Definitely thought about it after that. That's what fucking makes you a school shooter. I'm telling you, you're gonna fuck shoot a school.
That's gonna flag us on YouTube, I
bet. Yeah. Don't shoot schools up.
Don't shoot schools.
Yeah, please God, don't. I mean, if you're gonna shoot up anything, don't shoot a school.
Don't shoot people.
Not a school, not kids. Don't shoot kids. Shoot adults. If you're a kid, shoot adults.
I'm gonna say even, do better than that. Don't shoot anybody.
Don't shoot anybody. Don't shoot anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that I would prefer if no loss of life had to occur at all. But don't shoot kids first. I would pick them over the adults if I had to pick.
For sure. Not yeah.
It's not that I have to, but like if we're in a room and it's you and like a kid, what kid first off, but probably shoot you. You know what I mean? Depends on the kid.
If it's the kids from the movie Cats and Dogs, then yeah, you're definitely shooting them.
Cats and Dogs?
Cats versus Dogs.
Cats versus Dogs. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into this reference. It's stupid.
All right, back to somehow Twin Peaks. To Shelley, and Leo had a bad night. He gets the shit kicked out of him by Hank. And then Shelley shoots him. It's just
I love how it happens right after another.
And it's the funniest thing. I don't know why it's so funny. I mean, I watched it.
It was really comedic pacing for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, there wasn't 2 seconds between. He goes to the truck. He gets the gasoline. Hank beats the shit out of him. He walks inside. Shelley shoots him. This is there's no pacing here. And then Leo makes these noises. He sounded like the Scuzzlebutt from South Park.
And for sure his arm had to fucking,
because he had to hit the thing
he had to hit the lamp.
And the ceilings are 8-foot ceilings. They've got to be 8-foot ceilings. They're high ceilings. because Leo is he might be 6'2" according to his sex profile. So he had to really get up there, hit that thing, and she drops the gun and closes her eyes. Shoot him again, you stupid bitch! Like, keep firing until you have no bullets. You're an NYPD officer, and it's a dog coming at you, or just a dog in a yard, or the black guy in a car, or whatever. You're a cop, and you're bored, so you empty that gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
And
either his hand fucking shot up to,
or the bullet
hit the light.
ricocheted out of his arm.
I like to also think it may have been fucking Hollywood physics, where he fucking just his whole body just
His
jumped
whole
up.
body, like the Chappelle show when he gets punched and he launches out. I like to think that the bullet ricocheted like it's JFK's bullet. You know what I mean? And it hit the fucking back and to the left, and it bounced off the thing, and it ended up. Yeah, it's the bullet that hits Mr. C in episode 17.
Yes,
The same bullet.
it's hilarious.
And then we get a very interesting ending. Mr. Dale Cooper goes to his room, and there's a nude Audrey Horne in his bed. One of my favorite endings to an episode, I have to say.
Yeah,
but
it is
the sexiness of it is tempered by her emotional state, which you mentioned earlier, quite vulnerable. And I think there's something to be said for that. You know, you're not rooting for I like it because it's sexy, and I don't like it because I don't like how emotionally distressed she is.
Yeah.
And it's and I think Coop's decision to spoil the next episode, to not do it, is probably a very good one, a very virtuous one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it shows a lot about the character, shows a lot about them, because I would have done it. I would have been no.
Yeah, I know you love Audrey.
Yeah, I would have. There'd have been no. I felt bad.
Most dudes probably would have done it.
Yeah, I mean, you can discuss it afterwards, how she felt, her emotional state. We can talk about it later, but I think it shows a lot of. In general, this episode was great. This is a great episode.
Very good.
This is, I think, outside of episode 2 or 3 for you, this has been my favorite episode to talk about. It nailed every single thing. Every scene was important and weighty.
Yeah.
There's lots of world building, lots of things going on. I was genuinely impressed with this. We had a lot of movement on plots. We had a lot of character development. We had a lot of Cooper seemed intelligent. Audrey had a wide range of things. Ben was conniving. We got the mystery of Hank. We got a lot more out of Leo and Bobby and Shelley. Just everybody was killing it,
And, we said that we didn't see much of Cooper's dreams in it, but no, I mean, thinking about that again, you see the red curtains, and
it's about relating his dreams to the investigation. I just think calling it Cooper's dream was a stupid idea. Like, it's just call it the red curtains or something.
It's a callback.
The last one was called the fucking one-armed man. You can call this one the red curtains. Like, it's fine. These names are not good for most of these episodes.
They're not the best.
So it's not like they put a lot of fucking time and effort into thinking about what it's going to be. I think that in general, who I thought we saw a lot from is Josie here, because before this, she was presented as sort of an innocent sort of with something going on, but not, because we saw Hank manipulating her and we saw her talking about Catherine, but we never saw her outright arch until this episode.
Yeah.
She was flat evil, like bad guy evil here. And that was new. Because she was showing that she's competing with Catherine on the same level as Catherine. And Catherine doesn't even know it. And she was under that desk while her and Ben were making out or whatever the fuck they were doing. Smoking a cigarette under there. Such a weird fucking very strange stuff. Yeah. So what did you think of this episode in general?
I loved it, man. It was really good. I think I liked. I don't know if I liked it as much as One Armed Man, but But no, I
I,
liked
I,
every bit of it. My
I
favorite part of it, like I said, was Audrey's part.
oh,
Audrey was fantastic in
this
this.
was the Audrey episode. This was probably the best Audrey episode.
Oh, for sure. And then, of course, the scene with Log Lady and everybody else in her cabin. That was one of my probably second favorite.
We got enough of the weird stuff in this too that it still felt like Twin Peaks. Like we didn't lose any of that weirdness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was still some in there. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, I think everyone was used effectively. Nobody was spread too thin. You saw the right amount of everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I can't praise this episode enough. It was one of my favorite episodes. I'm gonna go ahead and say overall of the show, this is probably top 5. And I don't count the return because that's hard to. It's hard to break up episodes in the return because it's one piece of media.
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be, right? It's like an 18-hour movie.
I want to say though, watching it, there was some episodes that were like, because it was one piece of media, you have those episodes where nothing fucking happened because it's the middle point of a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it was like episode 10 of The Return was fucking terrible. Nothing happened in it. And it was about nothing, and nothing happened, and nothing went on. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, as I watched it when it came out, I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, see, that's where a big difference that separates me from a lot of other Twin Peaks fans, that I discovered it after it aired.
Yeah,
after
you got to watch it straight through. Watching it episodically like that, I remember me and my wife at the time we were mad. We were mad because episode 8 happened, then episode 9, and then 10 was like the worst episode. And I'm like, this was bad. This was really it was almost unwatchable because nothing happened in it. It's the one where the girls are talking about scratching their armpits, and there's just a bunch of nothing going on in the whole episode.
Oh yeah.
And if you present it as a piece of one media, okay, there's going to be lulls in the story, but that as a separate piece, it didn't work like that.
Yeah, I have to watch it again, so I'm glad we're doing some Twin Peaks podcast.
Well, we're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing all the Twin Peaks, all the Twin Pickles. This was a damn good episode. So we're talking about some other things after that. I don't really have any questions for this episode because I think we're on the same agreement here. This was a bomb ass.
I'm going to correct what I said earlier that I thought One Armed Man was better. I'm going to change my mind on that. No, this episode was better than
I certainly think it was a better episode. I think it was a better done episode. I think Mark Frost should have. I don't know. I have a lot mixed feelings about Mark Frost, but he was on point here. Did you see the commercials of people sticking blowing mints in their nose? Have you seen this?
Oh.
It's a commercial I see, and it's people huffing stuff into their nose, and it's mints. It's like a mint
nose?
In your nose. Did you ever see Demolition Man?
No, I haven't seen Demolition Man.
You fucking piece of shit. The reality that we're living in is a parody of anything that makes fucking sense anymore. What do you mean you're huffing mints into, and this is a commercial for a product that you huff into your nose and blow it out your mouth, and it makes your breath feel better, smell better? Put a fucking mint in. What the fuck what are you talking about? What is wrong? What do you mean?
I haven't seen this fucking commercial, so
it is maddening. It is maddening. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I can already see the logic in it. It's probably supposed to like wake you up a bit, right?
Like a smelling salt?
Yeah, like a smelling salt.
What do you need that for? What are you doing?
I don't know.
I can't take it. I can't take shit like that. I see shit like that. I'm like, what are you? It's the stupidest shit.
People live the kind of lifestyle where they need to use a mint for their nose.
They need constant mint into their fucking nose and digestive system. What that go right to your fucking brain and just kills you.
When they need to get pumped up.
They need to get pumped up. Do some fucking cocaine like a human being and shut the fuck up. Putting a mint in your fucking nose. Put some cocaine up there, which, I got that terrible deviated septum. I don't know if I should be advocating cocaine.
That probably wouldn't work out for you.
No, it works better because I just do it through this nostril and just go right up.
Listen.
Just not this one. That So we're at my mom's the other day, and Ava goes into her bathroom, and I wasn't really letting her play and stuff. And I hear a spray bottle. Tss, tss, tss. I'm like, well, okay, what's going on? You know, you jump into action and you hear something like that.
Yeah.
And I go in there and I said, what are you doing? She has her hands behind her back.
Oh man.
I said, Ava, what do you got behind your back, honey? She pulls out a paper towel. She sprayed the walls and was wiping them down. She's cleaning the house. I'm like, are you cleaning the bathroom? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, continue.
Okay.
I guess.
That's fine.
What a
totally
like
cool.
what a weird thing to do.
That's funny. So she got scared. She thought she wasn't supposed to be doing
She thought
that,
she
or
was in
like,
trouble. Like, what are you doing?
Oh.
And I was like, she was like,
doesn't that always make you so sad?
it's so yeah. Well, her mom is like a clean freak. Like she cleans all day long every day to make up for the dirtiness of her personality and of her lifestyle choices. So
she watches this podcast, right?
No, she won't watch it. She didn't want to listen to me when we were together, like hear me rant. So she's certainly not going to listen to me rant to someone else, which is a funny thing because this is a cycle I go through with women. They like me because I have such strong personality. Like I rant and I rave and I'm crazy. And then they think that's going to go away. Like,
oh, they think they can tame that.
I don't know if that's what it is. They think I'm gonna at some point stop ranting and raving like a crazy person, and I don't. And then they get really sick and tired of it. I never said it would. This is who I am. I'm going to continue to do this. I get a bee in my bonnet, and I will fucking go with it for quite a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're exhausting sometimes.
Yeah, it's the thing about being me. I am tired after having conversations with myself. And it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be anything real. You heard me rant about Superman for an hour, for God's sake. I can go on a subject.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
You can beat me to death with one.
I will pummel you into submission. And it's not even that I want you to be wrong or I want you to agree with me. I just really want to get this
you feel
out.
that strongly about it.
Yeah. And I don't do it to make people feel like, oh, okay, you're right. Because I don't care if you disagree.
No, I never got that from you either.
Okay,
I know I can tell that you're genuine and you feel how you feel.
Yeah.
So I'm there most of the time, just like, yeah, sure.
But it happens a lot because like I got together with her and she's like, I love how passionate you are about things. And I'm like, great, because I'm going to continue to be passionate about things and you will not
gonna stop.
Like it. It will become exhausting to you because I've had probably a dozen women do the same thing to me. Oh, I love how passionate you are, man. Oh, why don't you ever shut up? I'm like, what did you think was going to happen here?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Bree would say to me when she's like, I could tell you're going to go into something because there's a twinkle in your eye, and she would go, stop.
Better a twinkle than a twitch.
She would go, stop, before I got started. She's like, I could just tell. Or when she would ask me a question, I'd say a crazy answer back, like not a real answer. You know what I mean? She'd be like, where do you want to go eat? And I'd be like, she'd go, a real answer. Because you get this sparkle.
Well, I want to know an example of the
oh, where do you want to go eat? Oh, I don't know. PJ Cornucopia's Fancy Food McGorm, a Great American Steakery. You know what I mean? Like, not a real answer. Just whatever thing I could think of or that I heard.
Frustration or what?
Or that whatever I thought of that was funny at the time. You know what I mean? And she goes, stop. I saw the twinkle in your eye. There's a glint. And they don't like it after a while. I don't, and maybe it's right. They want to try to tame me, but I don't want to be tamed. I'm a human being. I'm not a project.
You're not a project. You just got to find someone who can keep up with the rants or who can embrace them.
I don't think so.
You're giving up already?
I think the last girl I dated, she hated it. I just think she hated it. She's just like,
the one you talked about on here?
I've talked about a number of them, but she just fucking didn't care. She just didn't she didn't like the rants and the ravens and she was like, you're too much sometimes. I'm like, number of them hate it. They all hate it in the end. In the end, they all hate it. But yeah, it's frustrating stuff. Because there's a lot of women
too, man.
I am, but at least I'm who I am. I'm not. I don't feel like a lot of women, and this is not just women. Guys do the same thing. They find a person and they think I can fix this person. I can make them different. And this is all all people do this sometimes. You can't unless someone wants to be different. They're not going to be different.
Yeah, you're not supposed to go into a relationship wanting to change the person.
But I'm sure you've been there. You've probably been with people that were like, "Oh, I'm going to make this guy less, less gay by dating him because I'm a woman," and and it didn't work, obviously.
No, yeah, dude, it doesn't work out.
No.
When someone has a different idea of what they want you to be.
Yeah, especially a guy like I'm very much what you see is what you get. Very much presented myself as this person. I don't hide it.
I was gonna say one of my frustrating traits, something you probably don't see and do too much, that I make a lot of weird fucking noises sometimes.
I don't ever hear you make noises.
I do this.
My problem
with my lady
is you don't make enough noise.
So I don't know.
What kind of noises do you make? Are you humming a ball or what are you doing?
Yeah, shit like that. I'm like out of nowhere. It'll be like quiet for like maybe 30 minutes because we're like watching something, and then I'll just like look at her and do something like random like that.
You'll be like,
I'm not gonna do it right now. That is exactly what I'll fucking do. That is I do a lot of.
Do you have characters? Because I would have a character with each of them if I were to do that.
Yeah, it always changes. It's always
like,
changing.
I am Robot Man. Beep, beep, burp, 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 burp. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But God bless her. She's patient with that.
What does she say? Does she say anything, or does she just ignore them? She just go, "Oh, okay, you're."
Depends on how she feels, but she's like, ever since I told you about this, and you were joking. You said, "I think that's a sign you're autistic."
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I showed her that, and she said, "Oh, you're playing autistic again?"
Because stimming, they stim. A lot of autistic people have stims, and I know a couple people that it's noises that they make. They'll go, or the one guy I know, he makes this he goes, whoop, whoop. He just can't help it. He just does it all the time. It's just his thing. It's a stim. It's a comfort thing. So a lot of autistic people have stims, and some of them are vocal, and some of them are. But when you said I make a lot of random noises, I immediately went to
undiagnosed Tourette's too.
And having spoken to you for a number of times, there's something definitely wrong with you. I don't know what.
Oh, absolutely. You just haven't seen me going.
Yeah, there you go. Is that it? You turn into a character from Jacob's Ladder?
That was a little more exaggerated, I would say.
I like it. See, you just make noises. I just rant and rave, and I want to say that Mystery Science Theater ruined me for movies because I talk through movies.
Oh, do you?
Well, I can pay attention to a movie and still talk because I can do two things at once because I'm a human being.
I can't do that anymore.
And so I can watch any movie and still be talking to you and see what's going on. And I get so frustrated with shut the fuck up. I watched Mystery Science Theater all the time as a kid. I swear to God, it ruined me for movies.
Well, I mean, if it's a movie I've seen a bunch of times and
even then, it doesn't matter.
No, if it's a movie I haven't fucking seen, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I can't help it. I try. I'm better with it now, but I used to. I remember. Did I tell you the Infinity War story?
I think you may have, but you shouted something out at an awkward time.
I wouldn't shout something out. I'm gonna do that in movies. That's what am I, an asshole?
What was it? What was it?
I was there with a girl. I was there with a girl, and we're watching Infinity War. And they mentioned Steve Rogers, Captain America. You know what I mean? And I love Captain America. I have Captain America shield. I mentioned this. I have a shield. I have a bunch of Captain America stuff. And she goes, who's Steve Rogers? I looked at her. And I thought, if I didn't have to watch this fucking movie, this date is over. It is done. I am done with this conversation. I said, Captain America. And she was like, okay. I'm like, oh, you piece of shit. How are you getting banged in front of a Captain America shield? And you don't know who Steve Rogers is.
I gotta be honest with you, that's something that I would say probably.
Well, I'm not banging you in front of a Captain America shield ever again.
But would you? Oh, ever again? So
I got you already on that, you piece of shit. After I shot you, I had to make a vagina by shooting your genitals off.
Yeah. You blew a hole through my back and made a glory hole.
A glory hole? The power in the glory?
Yeah, because you can go in through the front, you can go out through the back.
Who do you think first coined the term glory hole?
Never thought about it. Who do you think? You probably have a more interesting
I,
answer.
I hope it's like a guy whose name was like, I hope it wasn't anything to do with enjoying it and it was a guy's name. You know, like,
I
oh,
imagine some
Dr.
dumb imagining
Dr.
this is what
John,
glory has to feel like.
Dr. John Glory.
John Glory.
It's named
Dr.
after
John
him.
Glory.
He called it his sex hole. Like he didn't, they had nothing to do with enjoying it. It was just the name. Like I called it my buggery hole. You know what I mean? Like, and then after he died, they said in honor of the buggery hole of Dr. John Glory, it's the glory hole.
I just imagine
That's
some
a better
fat guy who
story.
would say, like, this must be what glory feels like. I don't know.
I like mine. I like my long-winded nonsense better because it gives a
A
sense
long-winded,
of,
nonsensical
yeah.
answer is always the better one.
I like when things are named after people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is the, oh, what's this is the fuckulation machine. Well, what is it called? That is it sexual? No, Dr. Frankfurt fuckulation made it. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, Doctor. Speaking of Back to 30 Rock, Dr. Spaceman.
Dr. Spaceman. Dr. Spaceman. Dr. Spaceman. Leo Spaceman, who's one of the greatest characters in that show.
Tracy Morgan fucking killed.
Tracy Morgan is one of the funniest people that has ever existed in the history of the world.
I can't imagine working with that guy.
Oh, I would be dead. I would be. And
oh man,
I love the stories about him. Just hearing him be as a crazy person, because a lot of the stuff on 30 Rock that he does is based on stuff he did in real life.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard
I'm gonna get everybody pregnant. What was the story about him? He fought a guy, and he was screaming the whole time, "I miss my daughter." He did not have a daughter. He meant his octopus. And that's a real story. And it sounds like a 30 Rock story, but it's a real story.
It's something that actually happened.
He has one of the world's largest fish tanks or something like that in real life too. Yeah.
So
and on the show, he has to constantly talk about a fish tank. He has a really giant fish. Like, he's such a weird fucking dude. He's nice. So strange.
Yeah, I'm glad I finally started watching that show.
You ever see a stand-up? It's the filthiest stand-up.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen a stand-up in a while, but I remember it being pretty wild.
Talk about anal. I know you like it. Like, he's a genuinely hilarious man.
Yes, he is.
And 30 Rock,
really good in that show.
And Tina Fey understood his voice. Like, she understood how he acts in real life.
Oh yeah, she knew exactly what to do with him.
Yeah, like, and they even put the real weird stuff in. Like, remember in real life when he said, if I had a gay kid, I'd kill it?
I don't remember that.
He said it in real life, and then he didn't apologize. Tina Fey apologized for him, and they put that in the show where he says something mean about gay people, and then she writes an apology. And I'm like how? What?
That's perfect. That's fucking perfect.
Because he's not going to apologize for anything. He doesn't give two.
Oh, no. I wouldn't
how much money he has, especially after the Walmart debacle.
Oh God, yeah.
Which was a goddamn shame. His couple of his friends lost their lives.
Yeah, that's really sad. I'm glad for that.
Fuck Walmart, just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wrong, and they were wrong, and I'm glad that monetary money's not going to bring back people's lives, but something should have been done.
I mean, it was just an accident, right? What was going on with the truck driver?
The driver was on his second 12-hour shift.
Oh.
They hadn't given him time off to sleep or rest. Walmart had mandated some kind of overtime for him, and he fell asleep at the fucking wheel and killed 3 people. And that was 100% their fault. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You know what I think is funny is we have said that corporations are people whenever they need breaks, but whenever they commit murder, these people are not held accountable. Like Jeff Bezos is responsible for those 6 people dying in that hurricane or tornado. He should be arrested.
Oh, the ones that died in the Amazon warehouse?
Yeah, they wouldn't let him leave. Well, you're not allowed to leave. Okay, well then, if your company is a person, then you're responsible for that actions of that person. I want to see a dime store Lex Luthor up there in shackles, maybe beheaded as well.
Of course, you'd love that.
Well, I've mentioned this before, and I have definitive proof now. He was banging kids on the moon.
I believe you. I believe you. It's easy to agree with you.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot easier than getting into an argument with me. I'll tell you that. So how about NASA in general has become a for-profit company? Did you notice that? They're no longer like space exploration. They're just like an arm of Tesla at this point. NASA, a division of Tesla. Like they don't even do anything that's not rich person going into space related anymore.
I don't follow any.
Well, NASA when we were kids, they did cool stuff. They were doing finding rocks and space stuff, and astronauts were cool. And now it's just a division of rich guys going to space Inc.
Yeah,
which
they're not doing much.
I don't begrudge them for wanting to go to space because they certainly fucked up the planet. So let's go ahead into space and figure out something else better out there. But it's just sad to see like, hey, NASA was a thing. He used to inspire hope in people. Remember, Ron Howard helped. And
definitely
now,
don't see as many NASA shirts and hats.
No, now you don't see any of that. I don't see anybody wants to be an astronaut because we don't go to space anymore unless you're a billionaire.
Yeah, nobody's gonna want to leave the planet.
I don't believe in the moon. They say they didn't go to the moon. We didn't go to the moon.
Oh.
There's no moon. I want to step further with it. Fuck that. Of course we didn't go to the moon.
That overboard.
Of course we didn't go to the moon. There's no moon. So what's that thing up there? It's a projection.
Well, you heard it here, guys. There's no fucking moon.
No,
it's a projection.
Talk about your flat Earths. Let's start this up. Fuck the flat earthers. It's the no moon movement.
The no moon theory.
No, the num movement. No moon. No moons, no peace. Something. I'll work on a better slogan than that. But I think
we gotta promote it.
I think the no moons movement is a thing that I'd like to see in a couple of years with a bunch of crazy people talking about it, like the flat earth people who are just the most insane people that I've ever seen in my entire life. Did you ever look into them, flat earther people?
No.
Only
what I've heard.
It is brilliant. It is a level of cognitive dissonance that I have not seen since 9/11. Like it is just a level of like, what the fuck are you talking about? And like, I've listened to all their arguments and I've listened to their points, and like, usually with a crazy person, I can wrap my head around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I cannot even begin to see. I can see how they get so into it because it's so far removed that if you fall down that hole,
logic, right?
Yeah, you can't get out of it because you're in a whole new dimension of like nonsense.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not going there.
I fall down rabbit holes all the time of shit. That's why I don't use Tor browser anymore, because I went into some dark shit on the deep web and I've seen, I'm like, I don't know, no thank you anymore. And 99% of it's garbage, but you find that one thing and you're like, man, I wish I didn't see that. And
I actually saw something today that was kind of rough because I was watching Tom Segura's podcast, Two Bears One Cave. He had Ari Shafir on as a guest, and they were talking about some fucking cartel video that he saw on Star.
Yeah.
Yep. It was like a rival cartel gang, so it was like a drive-by, and it was just fucking.
I saw that one you're talking about, as that was trending.
I searched it. I searched it today. I don't know why. I heard them talking about. I'm like, why? I have to see this.
Don't ever look up cartel videos because they're all over the place.
Oh, dude, I've seen a lot.
They just put them out there, man, and like they don't care, and I don't like it. I don't like that shit.
I've seen some pretty fucked up ones too.
To see the degradation of human civilization, and just the treatment of people, really, really awful. I've seen the Mexican cartels, the South American cartels, and I've seen some in number in Asia. I've seen different gangs and stuff like that do really fucked up stuff, and it's awful. Crazy. I don't like that kind of shit, man. Wild. Like, it's one thing, people talk about glorifying violence, but when a little kid can look up that kind of shit, like real violence, it's way different. You know what I mean?
It's weird, man, because I know I was definitely one of those weird fucking kids who was like hung out with their friends and then like, oh, we saw
Pain Olympics and all that other shit.
All that shit.
But I
don't know how much of a big effect it had on me personally. You know?
We
I
were,
know I can't really watch this stuff anymore.
yeah. Well, I used to watch medical. I used to have a channel that was just medical, like operations.
Uh,
And I would watch that during middle school and high school while I ate. I was totally like, pretty cool. Like I was totally desensitized to it. And like, I can't, we were in a generation that had unfettered access to the most depraved things in human civilization.
oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that we've gotten away from that a little bit. Like it's harder to find that stuff now for kids a little bit because it ruined our generation. That's why we're such fuck ups.
You know what, man? I don't know. Do you think that what would you think is better, that, or do you think the level of porn that porn is on?
I don't separate the two at all. I don't separate the two at all. I consider pornography to be a degradation of the human spirit by a long
we
shot.
talked about this too.
And so, but we were in an age of unfettered pornography. Nowadays, people were, you know, they're canceling these porn places because they can't verify these people are adults. Like credit cards are closing them, and good. And people, that's people getting mad. They're like, they're hurting sex workers. I'm like, they're making it so children aren't being on porn. Like, what do you mean? You can't verify if two adults are in your video, it can't be online. Good. Like, how is that a bad thing? Even if you are,
that's not a bad thing.
No,
that's not a bad thing.
Even if you're a pornographer, person who enjoys pornography, you can't, and you have an argument against that, you're a fucking sicko.
Yeah, no, that's wait, but why would someone argue against that though?
Because so Pornhub and all them, like
logically, why would someone argue against that?
Well, okay, so because they're an addict, because they don't really care about the real problems. They just care about their pornography fix. And it's an addictive thing. Coming is addictive. Degradation is addictive. It's just like alcohol. It's just like pot, just like anything else. You can get addicted to the feeling it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Porn addicts, and I can tell you a porn addict. I can tell you meeting a porn addict within 30 seconds if they're a porn addict. I can. Good.
Okay, my question was, okay, so
what would be their logical argument
against people verifying age? I think I'm misunderstanding something.
The only so credit card companies are not accepting Pornhub and those other places to use their services anymore because they can't verify the age of every person on their video. Right?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So the only argument that I've heard about it that is that it hurts sex workers. And I'm thinking, wouldn't you want there to be regulations in place to make sure they're not being exploited? Well, they don't care about that because I want to have 10,000 porn videos up a day that I can watch. I've not heard a real argument against.
I guess I just don't see the people that would argue against that.
I mean, it's just like any other vocal minority. It's not the majority of people. It's the crazy assholes that are doing it, and the porn companies themselves are arguing against it. But that's because they just want to make money, and they don't really care if it's children they're showing or not. They don't actually care, and that's why whenever they got hit with that lawsuit, Pornhub deleted 8 million, 20 million videos or whatever ridiculous amount it was.
Oh, crazy.
They said we don't do that, and then they deleted half of their fucking videos. Well, obviously you do it, and obviously you do it, and obviously you don't care that you do it. A bunch
of videos like that, then sure, probably.
And obviously you don't care that you do it, so you're a liar, and you just care about making money, and you don't care if children or people trafficked or people being raped. And there was a bunch on there, people saying that I was raped, and they put a video online. Okay, that's not. Oh, there's a bunch of those stories out there, a bunch of them. And Pornhub wouldn't take it down, would not take it down. Didn't care. They don't care. And so these porn companies, you hear this thing like ethical pornography, and there's no such thing as, if they can degrade you to make money off of it, they'll degrade you to make money off of it. They do not give a shit. No one gives a shit.
I don't know if it's necessarily degrading for every single person that's involved.
Degrading for every single person is irrelevant. It's degrading for people, degrading as a whole. Because if one child is shown being raped, or one person that was trafficked is forced into it, you've ruined the whole thing. You've scrambled up the whole bag. If I give you a box of donuts, one of them's rotten, probably not going to be too thrilled with eating the rest of them. You know what I mean? rotten egg in a thing, you're not gonna.
I'm not following that logic. I don't know.
Well, rotten food tampers all the other food around it. Do you know that if you put a rotten thing next to a rotten thing, it makes that thing go rotten?
Yeah, I'm not calling that food though. That's why I'm not applying that. I can't apply that logic with that.
You're not what?
I'm not calling it that thing though. I'm not. I can't.
Oh, so okay. So let's look at. Are you big on police?
What do you mean by big on police? Like,
do you think that there's good
police?
cops and bad? Do you think there's good cops and bad cops?
Sure, there's some good cops and bad cops.
Do you think that the bad cops make the good cops look worse?
Sure.
Well, that's the same. That's the same idea. Simply by existing, simply by the negative existing, you've tampered the whole bag.
But also, I also know that when all that George Floyd stuff was going on, that when I was seeing a bunch of cop videos,
yeah,
like it was like always on my feed, cops being assholes to all these people, beating people, all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what my point is in saying is. I'm just mentioning observations.
Well, it's true, but here's the thing though. But if you have so
I was completely ignoring the how there's a lot of fucking good cops out there, probably majority good cops, I would say, that why would you film good cops too?
Well, there's plenty of filming of good cops. There's plenty of that out there. I've seen plenty of it. The problem is that the bad cops kill people, and that's much worse.
Yeah.
I go back to I think the same way I think the death penalty. So, okay, so I'm anti-death penalty. Let me give you the reason why. If we kill one innocent person, the whole thing's thrown into account, because who's responsible for the death of that innocent person? Should we put the jury? Should we kill the jury then? They sentence him to death. Should we kill the judge? He sentenced an innocent man to death.
Well, I'm not for the death penalty either. Just
but that's the whole point, though, is that once you've started hurting actual people who are innocent, the whole thing is called into question. Once you're okay with that,
dude, I separate more.
That's you can separate it all you want, but I feel like that's just moral grandstanding. Because then you can separate to the point where you're disconnected from the actual problem. You've disconnected.
You don't separate to that point where you're disconnecting. You separate only, and then make connections where you need to. Again, it's a dance between balancing that shit.
So you'd be okay with there being some children that were raped as long as most of them weren't.
No, okay, you can't just say that someone's okay with that because
that's the statement, though. That's what it is.
Because these people
they don't care either way.
No, that's your generalization of that statement, and your disregard for how complicated those things can get.
How complicated? So the majority of women in pornography that say they don't want to be in it, the majority of prostitutes say they don't want to be prostitutes, the majority, the thousands of trafficked women and children and millions of raped people and also animals. I don't want to even get into that. There's nothing to be done for that because at some point someone needs to get off. I mean, it's a bigger problem than some porn is bad. We're a human rights violation.
I'm incapable of making that generalization for me. I can't. I really feel like it's more complicated than that. And I can't make those connections, and you just choose where you're separating.
I respect that. I just don't separate whenever when people are actually being hurt.
No, and I respect your point of view on this too. I'm just letting you know how
I. I'm not arguing that you're wrong. We respectfully are disagreeing. I think we're respectfully disagreeing on a subject that is quite complex. I can't wrap my head around ever wanting human beings to be in any sort of position. And this is, I say this, and I'm not talking down to sex workers because I don't blame the sex workers. I blame the Johns. I blame the directors. I blame the producers. I blame the people buying sex, not the sex workers. I would never blame a sex worker for having to do something or wanting to do something or whatever. But I blame the people making money off of their hard work and their backs. Because it's the pimps and the directors and the Johns that are the bad guys, not the porn people, not the, you know what I mean? Those are the bad guys because those are the ones that want to exploit you. Those are the people that don't care, not the worker. You know what I mean?
No, I can see that.
Yeah, I don't blame a prostitute. I blame the guy buying the prostitute. Like, she's just doing what she has to do to get through the fucking day or get through the life or do whatever. You know what I mean? And that sucks that she has to do that, or even if she likes doing it, it still sucks. Like, look at the OnlyFans thing. That's a fucking pyramid scheme at best.
Yeah.
And it's been revealed that it's a fucking pyramid scheme, and it sucks that it duped all of these young people into what is essentially exploitation in some fashion, because that's what a pyramid scheme is. And now their stuff's out there forever, and whether they care or not, some of them will, some of them won't. But it sucks that they had to go through some sort of trials and tribulations about it, especially because our government sucks so bad that we forced a generation of people into thinking that the only way they could make money was to be naked.
I know it seems harsh, but like, I don't know. I just, again, I always feel it's more complicated than that. For like, I always look at it like case by case, you know. Like,
Well, now the OnlyFans thing is very much not a case by case. It is a pyramid scheme.
Oh no! That I know, understand.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's not a case by case.
I know what
basis.
happens
That's
with the
it.
content and everything after and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
what the technical there's that content is property of OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, and you're fucked.
Yeah,
you got
totally.
totally. They got totally fucked on that. Everybody got totally fucked on that.
Yeah,
However you feel about the issues of pornography or not, that's a scam. I mean, it's a big scam. Which is, hey, some guy made his money. That's all he cares about. We got pretty heavy here on the DarkPeaks podcast with
yeah.
I don't normally like
to respectfully
to talk. Well, I think we came to a conclusion that I don't want to argue with you, and
I don't want to argue with you either, dude.
No.
It's because like, you got to understand that maybe my wanting to not, I don't know, me feeling how I feel. I'm just saying I'm ignorant about a lot of shit, and I only know what I know. I
think you want the best out of people. I really think it's coming from a place.
But I also want people to have their freedom too. Yeah. I want people to have the freedom to do what they want to do.
As long as they're suffering.
Like, you know.
They're free to suffer as much as they can suffer as much as they possibly want. Under Adam's dictatorship. And as long as they're suffering,
emphasis on the dick.
Yeah, as long as they're suffering, it's good. So that's where we're at for you, right?
Sure.
No wonder you're okay with all of this stuff. It's you know, people suffering is fine. You love it. Cartel videos, and it's all good for you. No, I think it's
making me look fantastic.
I think it's a mark of a friendship that we can have a discussion like this, because it's a very
fuck yeah, dude.
Temperamental. I've had arguments where people were quite opposed to my views, and likewise, and we couldn't talk after that. We weren't friends, and I think it's a damn shame that people are not able to come to.
I think it's a matter of knowing where each other's hearts are at, you know.
Yeah. But I think we both come from a similar place. We both
speak volumes.
Mean the best out of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Because you live in a sort of fairy wonderland where you think people can be happy. I think a little bit you live in your own heart, and you live in a place where you really think that people can be happy, and they can get that. And that's not wrong. I think that's wonderful. It's a
appreciate
wonderment.
that. I'm glad you see that. But you know what, man? I have to also, not to totally disregard what you said, but these days, man, I've been feeling kind of skeptical about the future.
Future of what? Life?
Future of everything.
Yes, it's quite grim. It's quite grim. I'll be honest with you. But
it seems to be like a dramatic change from how I've been feeling from before the pandemic and after, and now. And it breaks my heart.
I think you've hit the nail on the head here, is that we are in a world that's tumultuous at best. It's separated. Everybody hates each other for the most minor of reasons. We're looking to go to war with Russia now, coming up. Really thrilled about that one. Glad the Cold War made a return. Didn't have that on my bingo card. Cold War back. If you got that, folks, you definitely got a bingo, because what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I've been worried about this for about a year now. I'm like, don't go to Ukraine. Let's not involve ourselves in Ukraine. Nope. Going to the Ukraine. Gonna fight with Russia. Just who we want to get into a fight with. People with a better military than ours. Because our military is not military ready anymore.
Dude, but I'm gonna say that even though my view towards the future has gotten a little bit more skeptical, I still think that it's in my best interest and in everybody else's best interest for everyone to still try and maintain some kind of positive
HIV positive, you mean?
HIV positive, sure.
I think I think you have a good sentiment. I think you have a good heart, and you're hurt by seeing the people in the world be so miserable.
But also, I'm hurt from feeling so miserable too, man. It's like I'm feeling this way too. It's not just me seeing everybody else like, oh, poor everybody. No, I don't want to feel that way either, dude. I've been
I'm
like
with you.
fucking like I'm thinking seriously, dude. It's gotten so bad. I'm thinking about the future, and I really, it's grim for me, dude, and it makes me feel like I don't want to fucking be around for it. You know,
Yeah.
Like obviously, I'm not trying to scare anybody with that, but like.
He's not advocating suicide. He's just saying he's having.
I'm just saying, like, I really don't want to. It's a shit show, dude. I just.
Have you thought about? I'm going to present you with an option here. Me and you get the families, go to Iowa. We become Mormons. They got compounds and shit. They're bulletproof, man. I won't sell. I don't need it. I'll say Jesus was white. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, Jesus was white. Whatever you want to hear. Whatever you want to hear. Everybody was white. Don't give a fuck. Israel, all white. Fine. Can I come in? Come in, maybe come in.
That sounds like a really good
think
plan.
about it. Hey, I'm not even fucking around. I was looking it up the other day. I was seriously looking it up. How to become a Mormon, get into the fucking, yeah, dude, they have those closed communities, and they have fully running communities. Like they have the whole state of Iowa. It's just you're not getting in there. They're gonna close that shit off one day, and it's gonna be a fucking utopia. Except nobody has a birthday or whatever. Is that them?
Is it Iowa or Utah?
Utah. I'm sorry. It's both middle of fucking nowhere. I got them confused. It's not a real place. But we'll go to Utah. We'll go to BM. We'll go to Brigham Young University. Me and you. We'll go become teachers.
Yes. But no.
Yeah. Good.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I know I was getting kind of dark with that, dude. But like, no, like I said earlier, even with all that, I'm choosing to maintain a positive view, and be hopeful. And I'm not trying to, be foolishly blind or anything. I'm still willing to be somewhat foolish enough to maintain a positive attitude.
You're having a healthy cynicism, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're keeping an optimism, but you know what? The glass is sometimes half empty.
You know what? Yeah, the optimism is for my self-preservation, and also I think me acting that way is best for everybody else in the world too. Not that I'm thinking about it all that.
Well, I think that you got a good heart. I think you're a good guy, and you keep up keeping up the best you can. That's all you can do at the moment. You got a little guy there, and one day he's gonna kill you and marry his mother, and that's just the way things go when you have a son. So that to look forward to. That's why I don't have a boy. And that's just how it is. So
you're making me think of my Oedipal joke.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want a son, because one day he'd want to kill me. That's a fact.
I'm just waiting for the day that I know that one day him and I are gonna fight.
Yeah.
Because someday, the son has to fight his dad.
He has to kill him and then marry his mom or whatever.
We're not gonna fight.
No, that's a fact. Every son should fight their dad.
Yeah.
To establish dominance over him.
In a philosophical sense, sure.
No, I meant fucking getting there and beat the shit out of that old man.
Beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, old man. Ava beats the fuck out of me already. She pulls these little fists of fury at me.
My son, dude, he's fucking aggressive as shit.
They like to fight, man. And I hope she didn't get that. Her mom was a fighter and a cheerleader. Like she's a scrapper, and I did nothing but fight the entirety through my teenage years into my 20s. I fought everybody and everything I could find. My mom was telling me the other day, and she was like, all you did when you were in middle school and high school was fight. I would hear you guys fighting for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
Oh, damn.
So I would just do this. So, and her mom was a fighter because she was little and a cheerleader, so she would fucking fight bitches. And so Ava was going to be mean. She'll be real mean. So hopefully your boy has your temperament.
I hope so too. I think, you know what?
Because your girl has a temper. I've seen it.
Oh yeah.
She's mean. She'll come at you.
She can be.
And she's got them. She'll come with a hot curling iron or something, and she'll burn you and shit.
She's wild, man. She's fiery, but she's
I can
hot.
tell. She's a lot. She messaged me the other day. We had a nice conversation. It was nice.
Mm.
She won't talk to me because I'm a scumbag. She said,
Yeah, you
fucking
are.
piece of shit.
You are.
She
I
said,
wonder.
She said you're a bad influence on him. You got him drunk and philandering. He was sending you dick pics and all sorts of dirty things, and that's a fact.
Emoji.
Yeah. So we're gonna end it on that.
Yeah.
I need the picture for Friday's show.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten.
I don't know what the episode is. Oh, look. I
I
think it's a Twin Peaks one.
It's One Arm Man, yeah.
It can't be One Arm Man. Is it One Arm Man? Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, am I wrong?
Oh, look. Oh, look. Can you see me looking?
I can see you looking. I can see flashes on your face.
So where are we at here? Content. Rest in Pieces. Episode 1, season 3. Or season 1, episode 3.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, we record ahead.
The last Twin Peaks one was
Wisteria Lodge. Yeah. We record ahead on these. I don't know if you remember that.
It's hard to keep up. We get so far ahead sometimes.
Well, I don't want to put it on every week because then we won't have content. We won't.
Yeah, we'll run out.
This is the best thing for right now. We'll do it eventually every week.
I've grown to like the space a bit, but
Yeah.
I think eventually we can put out more if we bank a lot, if we bank a whole bunch.
We're gonna have to try some Patreon content again with maybe wine and wrestling. I'm telling you, wine and wrestling.
Wine and wrestling is sounds fun. We should do
that way. We can't get too drunk.
Wine and some stuff. Yeah.
I want to do. Let's start. You know what? We'll do a movie first, and then we'll do something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. No, we'll do something.
I do think we should have. I think we should have a wine and wrestling event every so often. Like this is
for
fancy. Dun, 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 and we're watching fucking
do some match with the Brood or with the Gangrel.
The Gangrel and the Chalice.
Yeah. Yes.
But we'll do that. It'll just be funny. It's like we have the sophisticated wines, and what pairs the best with King of the Ring '98? Well, a fine.
It's fine below.
Yeah. I have a Beaujolais, I think. Yeah. Fucking SummerSlam 2000 is more of a Riesling kind of event.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a very promising idea.
And then we can't get too drunk because I can finish a bottle of wine in like 10 seconds. So I'm not going to get fucked up.
I'll baby my wine. I used to drink a bottle of wine every night.
I'm going to just get a bag of wine if we do this.
Ooh.
Just fucking
a vintage Frenzia.
A vintage Frenzia. It is a fine 2019.
That should be it should be a box of boxed wine.
Box of wine. God, my mother would never forgive me for that. She's a wine connoisseur.
Oh, she would never settle for the boxed wine.
She would go, a box of, what are you drinking? A box of wine? She'd be so disgusted with me. I would never.
Dude, I was one of those fucking silly douchebags one year at Coachella where I got the bag out of the box.
Space
and I had
bag.
to slap
bag.
Slap the bag and everything, and then you got to do the thing. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
So I'm talking to this girl. I mentioned her before. I didn't mention it today, and she drinks champagne.
Oh wow, just like normally drinks
like
champagne.
regularly. It's sparkling wine. She's not drinking expensive champagne, but I'm like, you drink what? She's like, champagne. I'm like, you get drunk regularly on champagne? I said, what kind of high class 80s hooker am I talking to?
It sounds like the chick out of that movie I told you to watch that you probably haven't seen yet. SFW. So
no, I have it on the list. The endless list.
It's a weird one. No reason I brought it up except for the champagne. There's like a big champagne weird scene.
I love champagne. I'm a big champagne guy.
I'm not a huge.
I like a Moet and Chardonnay Imperial Extra Dry or a Dom. I don't care for the new movements of sparkling wines that are in. I don't want to get into it. It's the whole thing. But and then I got to watch all this stuff. And then Coral's telling me to watch Yellow Jackets.
It's good. Watch Yellow Jackets. And her memes have been
sick and tired of watching stuff that people want me to watch. I just want to watch stuff that I want to watch.
You watch it when you want to watch it. You watch it if you.
I don't know what anybody. She's tagging me in posts. I don't fucking understand any of them.
I don't know.
She's like, "Oh, you're in this," and I'm like, "I don't know who these characters are. Can't we watch old stuff that I recall?"
Yellow Jackets is good, dude.
I know it's good. I have Stars or whatever. Showtime. Yeah. have it on my Hulu.
Hula, hula.
Jess's mom wanted to watch Dexter because she likes Dexter. I'm not gonna watch Dexter.
Good. I know those last 2 seasons of the original run were fucking awful.
Well, the books were bad.
I never read the books. No.
They were terrible. He gets magic powers in the third one. Darkly dreaming Dexter. It was bad.
They watch that new.
I'm not gonna, still maybe it's John. I don't want to do it.
That's good.
Is John Lithgow in it?
He just has like one small part in it.
I don't want. You know, I have a new rule. I'm only watching new things if John Lithgow's in them.
Well, he has a part in it
repeatedly.
He films a one small part in it.
I will only watch the second Buckaroo Banzai movie when it comes out. You remember Buckaroo Banzai?
No,
Cross
I
Fifth
don't.
Dimension. Buckaroo Banzai is a fantastic movie starring Peter Weller as a character by the name of Buckaroo Banzai, who was a white guy raised by an Asian man. And he is Jeff Goldblum is a Jewish cowboy in it.
Nice.
John Lithgow is an evil scientist.
Of course.
There are several men by the name of John Big Booty. It is a movie that is truly an inspiration to us all, that made no money, was not popular, did not get a sequel, and no one has talked about since 1989. I am a huge fan of Buckaroo Banzai. Across the Fifth Dimension.
I'm gonna have to watch this. Across the Dimension.
You'll get a kick out of it. You will be like, it's like RoboCop without the violence.
Oh, but the violence is so good in RoboCop.
Which we had Leland Palmer in that.
Yeah.
And Red Foreman. We had two big dads.
And I think we mentioned it before, but Miguel Ferrer was in it too, right?
Yeah, he was the another bad guy. Everybody was a bad guy except for Peter Weller, and then everyone was a bad guy. I believe that was it. Him and the broad, the young lady. Who I don't even know who she is. That scene where they fucking kill him though. What a scene, huh?
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
wow. Blowing him apart. And they only show footage of bad things happening to cops. They never show the good footage of the things happening to the cops.
Wait.
Going back to what you said.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? About Robot Cop, the movie?
What?
Is it's like Detroit today. There's very little difference. Except there's no robots. You ever see it? It's like a murder, it's the murder capital of the country. It's terrible. They stopped caring. They're just like, we're done. We just walled it off.
It's so cold in the D, right?
Yeah. If you put one robot cop in there, place would turn right around. I saw a documentary about it. You know what it was called?
What cop?
RoboCop 2.
Well, on that note, sir, I have to say, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm fasting again for Allah. Which
I was trying
to
get under your skin right now and bring up some PTSD of saying I'm hungry. To remind me
I got it. I don't like it. That's why I'm. You
so
can't just do it. You can't just do it. Are you actually hungry?
I am.
See, my reaction is to ask you if you're actually hungry, and I can't help it. You actually want something? I would say, what do you want? I don't know. Make me something. I have to figure out what that meant.
You're fasting. Praise Allah. All right.
A little. I'm not doing it for Allah. I think the days are good. Just so happens it lines up with
for the gays. The
gays fast?
I don't know. They're fast.
Not all of them. I've known plenty of fat gay guys.
I don't know what I'm saying.
How many I know more fat gay guys nowadays than I know fat regular guys. It's ridiculous.
So who are you fasting for?
For myself, because I'm a fat guy.
Oh, you have to fast for a group though. So who do you claim? It's
intermittent fat for religion. I don't know. Give me if I had to pick one. Oh boy. I like the Sun Wukong guy, the handsome monkey prince.
So you're intermittently fasting for the handsome monkey prince.
I don't know if it sounds so cheesy to be doing it for him, like I'm trying to impress him, you know.
You'd be impressed.
I don't really, I'm doing it for the non-denominational God that you like to talk about.
The non-religious God.
The non-religious God. The non-religious God. I really like his style. He doesn't really
I'm a
stand
fucking
for
idiot.
anything or
I'm a
mean
fucking
anything.
total fucking idiot.
He doesn't really mean anything or stand for anything. He's got no real opinions. He's the non-religious God. What's he doing? Hey, who's that?
I'm the non-religious God. I have no real opinions.
How's that God doing? We don't know. He's got no opinions. Hey, God, how about abortion? How about it?
How about it? Hey, what did I tell you I am? I'm fucking this emoji.
Like,
I'm the non-religious God.
Yeah, the non-religious. It was so nice when you did it. I didn't want to make fun of you too much last episode. Now that episode's gone.
I think that shows a perfect example of you understanding where I'm coming from.
I understand where you're coming from.
But me knowing that I'm a total dumbass when I say that. But I knew that it's the only way I can get my point out and you would still understand it.
I understood it. But now that it's a thing,
I sacrifice myself.
I can make fun of it now that it's a thing.
Oh, I already knew you were going to make fun of it. That's the thing. I would like to claim some of the genius of this. You know?
What are you going to eat? What are you going to eat? I want to know what you're going to eat. Because I'm starving,
idea.
So I want to hear about your food.
I think we'd have to. I might have some cereal, dude.
What kind of cereal you have?
Honey bunch of notes.
Bunch of what?
Honey a bunch of what? Honey bunches of oats.
Oh, I like honey bunches of oats. That shit's good. I get the ones with the like white something in it, something on a white stuff in it. I don't know. No, it's something. I don't know what it is.
Milk?
Almonds.
Like
Almonds. Yeah, it's almonds. Almonds. No, I use almond milk because I don't like regular milk. Yeah. Or someone recommended me nut milk, and I didn't like it.
I got some nut milk for you.
I got some. I didn't like it. She was like, "Get the nut milk," and I'm like, "Okay." And it tasted like fucking watered down cum. So I was like, "Well, I could just have regular cum if I wanted this." I'm not gonna water my cum. I don't water my cum down. Yeah, I don't water it down. My cum it tastes like metal and pineapple. It's awful. So if you want that, ladies, think about it.
So what are we gonna talk about next week?
Nina Simone's gum.
I'm saying this for the people.
We're gonna talk about Nina Simone's gum, and we're gonna try to avoid shooting vaginas in that episode. I'll probably forget about shooting vaginas by next week.
For the sake of not getting taken down on YouTube, we're talking about shooting vaginas as in filming vaginas, right?
No.
Okay. Cool.
I honestly, if someone has to manually review this on YouTube and they've got to sit through
we're not big enough for that to happen.
Two fucking hours of this. Actually, we can just put age restriction on it. That's all that would happen. We're not advocating any violence.
Yeah.
We're just talking about gross stuff. So YouTube, if someone in YouTube is manually watching 2 fucking hours of this, I'm so sorry.
They're not. I imagine that everything that we say is, going through some kind of like I don't know.
Well, no, if they violate you and you request a review, someone has to manually review it.
Mm.
You can request like a manual review, which I would. Maybe we can get him on here to watch it with us. We can do a watch along of our own program with the YouTube guy.
The problem was.
Yeah, he can have a good old time. Then he's promptly fired. All right. Good night.
Good night.